Ignoring everything else, wrenched Ning Qianxue away and unleashed a torrent of blows upon Jiang Ziheo's face until the officers intervened. Jiang Ziheo, you will not escape justice. Ning Qianxue murmured, her vision blurred, as she caught sight of. Officers, I entrust this matter to you. We will pursue this relentlessly, and I expect impartial justice. Otherwise, I will take matters into my own hands. After ascertaining the location of the police station, glared at Jiang Ziheo, realizing how close he had come to defiling Ning Qianxue. Teacher, let's leave, said tenderly to the woman in his arms. Ning Qianxue nodded weakly. Xiaochen, take all the cameras. He intended to record me. She then collapsed into his embrace. Gathered the evidence and drove towards the hospital, reassuring Ning Qianxue, teacher, bear with me. I'm taking you to the hospital. Ning Qianxue vehemently shook her head. No, I can't. I'm terrified of hospitals. Please, don't take me there. Her distress grew, and she felt an overwhelming urge to unite with. Take me. To your sister? Ning Qianxue pleaded. Immediately contacted Jiang Qingyan, explained the situation, and sped towards her villa. He carried Ning Qianxue inside, where she had already lost consciousness. Her hand caressing his chest uncontrollably. What happened? Jiang Qingyan demanded. After hearing the explanation, a chilling expression crossed her face. Sister, what do we do? Asked. Holding Ning Qianxue. Why is teacher Ning refusing to go to the hospital? Jiang Qingyan sighed. Qianxue and I are close friends. She nearly died in a hospital once, leaving her deeply traumatized. She refuses to set foot in one, fearing it will be her end. Then what now? Pressed. Recalling the system's warning that the drug could be fatal without intervention, he had momentarily forgotten his own divine medical skills. Take her to my room. Carried Ning Qianxue into Jiang Qingyan and Appo's immaculate, pink-themed bedroom. He laid her down and left the room. 20 minutes later, Jiang Qingyan emerged, having attempted to lower Ning Qianxue's temperature through physical means, but to no avail. Her condition was deteriorating rapidly. She looked at, a silent struggle evident in her eyes. Xiaochen, go in. Help Qianxue. She will die if this continues. Tears welled up as she turned away, unable to bear witnessing her beloved brother with another woman. Especially her best friend, in her own bedroom, on her own bed. The pain was immense, but she couldn't reveal it. Bound by the unyielding truth that she and were siblings, destined to remain apart. Seeing his hesitation, Jiang Qingyan lashed out. Go now. She knew that immediate action was crucial to saving Ning Qianxue's life. Entered the room to find Ning Qianxue having cast aside her garments, revealing her beauty. Upon seeing him, she succumbed to her desires, pressing her lips against his in a fervent kiss, her first, tears streaming down her face. Reciprocated, unable to resist the temptation. Chapter 31. A decade after a series of events, the two finally laid bare their hearts. Ning Qianxue had begun to regain a semblance of clarity, yet she found herself unable to restrain her impulses. With determination, she pressed Gu Yechen down. The last vestiges of rationality shattered within him. He thought to himself, damn it. Let it be. As long as she did not hold it against him upon awakening, he would be content. Once prepared, Gu Yechen embarked on his exploration. This portion omits a lengthy narrative. In another room, Jiang Qingyan was unable to maintain her composure as the sounds of low moaning relentlessly assaulted her eardrums. Suddenly, a piercing cry echoed through the air. Jiang Qingyan shuddered, feeling an inexplicable discomfort, even a tinge of pain within her heart. She understood that from this day forward, Ning Qianxue would no longer be a maiden. 2.5 hours passed, and Gu Yechen was nearing his climax, while Jiang Qingyan endured her torment. Ning Qianxue had regained her senses and caught sight of Gu Yechen. Tears streamed down her face as she realized her innocence was lost. She bore no resentment towards him. Yet she would not let Jiang Ziheo escape unscathed. As Gu Yechen reached his peak, he yearned to extricate himself, but Ning Qianxue held him captive until the very end. This astonished Gu Yechen. He had not anticipated such resolve from her. Upon releasing him, Ning Qianxue reflected, so this is how it feels. As tears continued to trickle from the corners of her eyes, Gu Yechen embraced her gently, murmuring, Qianxue, I'm sorry. Ning Qianxue placed a finger on his lips, saying, I don't blame you. It was not intentional. Held tightly in his arms, she felt a sense of relaxation, knowing that had it been anyone else, she would have preferred death. But with Gu Yechen, she found it bearable. Gu Yechen felt compelled to confess, Qianxue, I am not the obedient child you perceive me to be. I have several women, thus I cannot offer you a title. With this revelation, he lowered his gaze. Are you implying you are a playboy? Ning Qianxue asked, somewhat astonished. In her eyes, Gu Yechen had always been the good boy. She never imagined he concealed such depths. There is a distinction. I treat my women well, which is not the same as being a playboy, Gu Yechen replied calmly. Ning Qianxue pressed a finger to his lips, insisting, let us sleep for now. Overwhelmed with fatigue, she sought rest. The two drifted into a deep slumber. That night, Ning Qianxue slept soundly, while Jiang Qingyan endured a night of torment. The following morning, Ning Qianxue awoke languidly, discovering herself bearing Gu Yechen's embrace. He remained asleep. And recalling her wild abandon from the previous night, she felt a wave of embarrassment wash over her. Clad in her clothes, she limped as she walked. Jiang Qingyan, having prepared breakfast, hurried to support her as she descended the stairs. Qinxue, I only had to call on Xiaoqing last night because I had no other choice. Please don't blame him. Ning Qinxue shook her head, replying, that guy was too reckless. By the end, I was coherent and could hardly bear it. Her face flushed as she retreated to freshen up. Seeing her friend's unsteady gait elicited a chuckle from Jiang Qingyan. It appeared that Ning Qinxue did not hold Gu Yechen accountable. After freshening up, Ning Qinxue joined Jiang Qingyan at the dining table, inquiring, you must know who drugged me, right? Jiang Qingyan nodded. Xiaoqing informed me. You may handle the matter as you see fit. Ning Qinxue agreed. Xiaoyan, you should distance yourself from the Jiang family. I might take action against them. They are draining you, and I wouldn't want you to collapse under the pressure. As she sipped her porridge, Ning Qinshue's background was anything but ordinary. Desiring independence from her family, she sought work as a teacher. In truth, she was the eldest daughter of the esteemed Ning family, having founded the Blue Ocean Group, now valued at over 100 billion, undoubtedly a wealthy beauty. Jiang Qingyan sighed. I will consider it. Do you have any emergency contraceptives? Ning Qinxue asked, startling Jiang Qingyan. My dear Miss Ning, did you and him not take precautions? Ning Qinxue shook her head. Your room has no protection either. Jiang Qingyan awkwardly chuckled. You mentioned being coherent at the end. You should have let Xiaoqing proceed without safeguards. She touched Ning Qinshue's forehead. You're not feverish. How could this happen? Ning Qinshue's cheeks flushed as she shyly admitted. Actually, I had him under my control, so it was. She hesitated, then continued. I swear. I only wanted to try. I never considered the possibility of pregnancy. Jiang Qingyan sighed again. I don't have any contraceptives here. After a pause, she urged. Finish your meal quickly and go buy some. It's been over 7 hours since last night. Otherwise, if you end up pregnant, I will bear the guilt. Ning Qinxue paused, patting Jiang Qingyan's shoulder. This is my issue. I don't blame you or Yechen, and it actually feels quite good. With that, her face reddened again as she grabbed her bag and exited. Jiang Qingyan watched her friend, speechless. She felt as if she no longer recognized her. How could she still express satisfaction after everything that had transpired? She ascended to call Gu Yechen. Upon entering his room and witnessing the chaos, Jiang Qingyan was taken aback, promptly kicking him out. Rubbing her temples, she began to tidy the room. The more she cleaned, the redder her face became. She spotted a hint of crimson on the bed and, seizing a pair of scissors, cut it away, intending to find an opportunity to present it to Ning Qinxue. After leaving the villa, Ning Qinxue limped, fully aware that attending class was impossible, and thus had to take a leave of absence. She visited a pharmacy, purchasing a box of emergency contraceptives, feeling a sense of relief afterward. Ning Qinxue proceeded to the police station, explaining her situation and filing charges against Jiang Zihao. Now over 18, he was swiftly sentenced to 10 years without the possibility of parole. Jiang Zihao slumped in his chair, unable to fathom how his momentary folly had led him into such dire straits, now left to await his father's assistance. At the Jiang residence, Jiang's mother fainted from anger, awakening to find herself gasping for breath. A decade of waiting for her son's return had been rendered futile. The atmosphere in the Jiang household was grim. When Jiang Qingyan entered the villa, the family regarded her as a beacon of hope. Jiang's mother's eyes lit up, and she hastily articulated her demands. Qingyan, you must save your brother this time. Otherwise, he is doomed. You know Ning Qinxue. Speak to her on his behalf. If she persuades your father, we can retrieve your brother. Jiang's mother spoke with an authoritative tone, as if issuing a command. Jiang Qingyan frowned. Do you even realize what he did to Qinxue? If the police hadn't intervened, her life would have been irrevocably ruined. How can you expect me to plead for his mercy? I just resolved the company's issues, and you bring me more trouble? I exhaust myself daily for this family while you all indulge in luxury and create further problems for me. Do you wish for my downfall? She retorted coldly. Jiang's mother was momentarily taken aback, then assumed a condescending demeanor. She felt it was her duty as the eldest daughter of the Jiang family. Qingyan, you are a Jiang. Everything you have is thanks to the Jiang family. Zihao is your brother. You should assist him. Do you think you could have achieved all this without the Jiang family? You must do this. Or else don't blame us for stripping you of your position as president. Jiang's mother's voice was icy, her tone leaving no room for dissent. Jiang Ku, Jiang Lai, and Jiang Shui were all taken aback by their mother's words, with even Jiang's father looking at her in confusion. Chapter 32. Leaving this home, Jiang Qingyan felt that she should never have entered the Jiang group over the past 5 years. Observing her mother's demeanor was truly exasperating. Despite being her biological daughter, it seemed as though only Jiang Zihua was regarded as her true son. She even began to doubt her own parentage. Slamming her hand on the table, she addressed her mother. While my position as president is indeed due to the Jiang family, do you truly believe I could maintain it without personal capability? Aside from constantly creating trouble, what else can you do? We are your genuine children. Yet you have already driven one away. It appears I must learn from this. Witnessing this scene, Jiang's father finally intervened. Yen'er, your mother doesn't mean it that way. Please don't act impulsively. Let us sit down and discuss how we can first rescue Zihua. Jiang's father was aware of Qin Yan's capabilities. Otherwise, the company could not have flourished so rapidly. Qin Yan glanced sideways at her father and replied, "There is nothing to discuss. Do not involve me in this matter. If you possess the strength, handle it yourselves." As she recalled her mother's words, her anger intensified. "I do not covet the title of president of the Jiang Group. Tomorrow, I will resign and leave. I wish to see how you intend to stabilize the company." With that, she ascended the stairs to pack her belongings. She could no longer endure this household. 20 minutes later, Jiang Qinyan descended with her suitcase. Jiang's mother, taken aback, asked, "Where are you going?" Qinyan responded with a cold laugh. "Didn't you say that without the Jiang family's support, I would be incapable? I am leaving this home to see just how capable you truly are." Jiang's mother was momentarily stunned. Jiang Ku, Jiang Lai, and Jiang Shui hurriedly seized Qinyan's suitcase. "Sister, mother didn't mean it that way. Please don't act rashly. Let us first think of a way to rescue Zihua, all right?" Jiang Ku implored. Qinyan, expressionless, looked at Jiang Ku and replied, "This is your affair. His fate is irrelevant to me. I have done enough for him throughout my life. This time, I cannot assist him. If you possess the ability, save him yourselves. Do not come to me, as I cannot bear this burden." With that, she dragged her suitcase toward the door. "If you dare to leave, we will no longer recognize you as our daughter." Jiang's mother could no longer contain herself and blurted out. Jiang's father slammed the table. "What do you wish to achieve?" Jiang's mother glared at him in anger. "You dare raise your voice at me?" Jiang's father was left speechless. "What do you mean by saying such things to Qinyan? Do you wish to drive her away as well?" Jiang's mother paused, recalling her earlier words, and quickly exclaimed, "Qinyan, I didn't mean it that way. What I meant is, your brother is currently imprisoned, and you can certainly save him. You must help him." Returning to her room, Qinyan printed 2 copies of a severance agreement, signed her name, and affixed her seal. Upon descending, she placed the 2 agreements on the table and stated, "Madam Jiang, your only kin is Jiang Zihua. We are no longer your son and daughter. You have declared that you do not recognize me, so here are 2 copies of the severance agreement." She opened the agreement and continued, "As the former president of the Jiang Group, I am aware that such agreements hold no legal validity. However, for me, this signifies the severing of ties. As I have truly had enough. In your eyes, only Jiang Zihua, your adopted son, is your child. We are not. In my eyes, I have only one brother, but he has already been driven away by you. Now, I too shall depart, which aligns perfectly with your wishes. Please sign." Seeing this, Jiang's mother panicked. Although she had spoken so harshly, she knew Qinyan's capabilities. Initially, she had hoped to leverage parental authority to persuade Qinyan to save Jiang Zihua. But Qinyan's resoluteness took her by surprise. She seized the agreement from the table and tore it in half. "If you wish to leave, you must leave everything behind, including your cards and car keys, etc., Jiang's mother declared coldly. Qinyan laughed softly and replied, "The money I possess is earned through my own efforts. Under my leadership, the company's market value has soared from 15 billion to over 80 billion. Do you think this was achieved without merit? If it relied on you, Madam Huang, the Jiang Group would have long since gone bankrupt." A surge of anger filled Jiang's mother as she glared at Qinyan. "If you were not part of the Jiang Group, could you have earned so much money? Leave all your car keys and bank cards." Qinyan shrugged and tossed the car keys onto the ground. "Here you go. As for my bank card, forget it. It belongs to me and has no connection to you. Do not push me. If you do, do not blame me for retaliating against the Jiang Group." With that, she exited with her suitcase. Jiang Lai wanted to intervene, but was silenced by Jiang's mother. From this day forth, no one is permitted to assist her. Furthermore, reclaim her current residence. I wish to see where she will go without the Jiang Group. Upon arriving back at the villa, Jiang Qinyan was informed that the villa had been reclaimed. Although she had anticipated this, she did not expect Huang Li to act so swiftly. "Miss, the villa has been reclaimed by Madam." Several bodyguards, all from the Jiang family, still treated Jiang Qinyan with respect. She addressed them, "In that case, I will go in and collect my belongings. Once I have finished, I will depart." The bodyguard said nothing and even assisted her in packing. "Xiao Xue, I have been kicked out," Jiang Qinyan informed Ning Qianxing, leaving her momentarily stunned. "What? They actually kicked you out for that adopted son?" "I currently have nowhere to go," Qinyan replied with a smile. Ning Qianxing hesitated before saying, "Come stay with me. Stay as long as you need. Would you like me to arrange a job for you at my company?" Jiang Qinyan thought for a moment but shook her head, saying, "Not just yet. I need some time to rest. I am utterly exhausted. Do you need me to pick you up?" Ning Qianxing inquired. "Do you have time to come get me? Don't you have classes?" Jiang Qinyan asked in surprise, not expecting Ning Qianxing to offer. Ning Qianxing laughed. "I am merely a figurehead now, occasionally dropping by. After Zhang Feng withdrew funding from Xinghua High School, I invested, so the principal doesn't let me manage too much. fearing it would tire me out. I just go to check in every now and then. All right, then come pick me up. Remember to drive a vehicle that can accommodate luggage. Jiang Qingyan felt at a loss for words. Ning Qiansheng, the daughter of the Ning family, had both opened her own company and then returned to teaching, seemingly doing whatever she pleased. Before long, Ning Qiansheng arrived in a van. Jiang Qingyan was left speechless. You came here driving that? Ning Qiansheng, surprised, replied, yes, didn't you say you needed to carry luggage? I specifically brought this from the company. It's quite convenient. She smiled, wrapping her arm around Qingyan's slender waist. Jiang Qingyan was rendered speechless as the bodyguards helped load her belongings into the vehicle, and the two drove off into the distance. Chapter 33, bruised and swollen 10 days later, with the final notification ringing out. The college entrance examination had come to an end. Gu Yechen was the first to exit the examination hall. Ning Qianxue and Jiang Qingyan were waiting outside, and upon seeing Jiang Qingyan, Gu Yechen rushed over and spun her around in a warm embrace. Sister, it's so hot. What are you doing here? He exclaimed. The surrounding parents, waiting for their children, looked on with envy at the siblings' interaction. My sister isn't hot. She just wanted to be the first to greet you after the exam. Jiang Qingyan was taken aback by the scene, her heart swelling with warmth. If only they were not bound by blood, it would have been perfect. But alas, there were no ifs. Gu Yechen then turned to Ning Qianxue and gently embraced her as well, whispering in her ear, Qianxue, you look truly beautiful. Ning Qianxue shot him a glare. You little rascal, you've grown bolder, haven't you? She pinched Gu Yechen's ear, prompting him to emit a dramatic yelp. Jiang Qingyan, overhearing their playful banter, chuckled softly. All right, Qianxue, if you keep pinching him, he might actually be in pain. Ning Qianxue was slightly displeased. Qingyan, you always defend him. Otherwise, would he dare to act so arrogantly towards me? Gu Yechen affectionately ruffled Ning Qianxue's hair, leaving her momentarily stunned. Jiang Qingyan watched in astonishment, her eyes widening as she noticed Ning Qianxue's cheeks flush with color. Realizing what had just happened, Ning Qianxue quickly swatted Gu Yechen's hand away, declaring, don't touch my head casually, or don't blame me for hitting you. Jiang Qingyan was left speechless, never expecting her friend to refrain from retaliating against Gu Yechen. She recalled a time when a boy had attempted to pursue Ning Qianxue and had merely touched her head, only to end up hospitalized for a month. Since then, no one dared to repeat such an act. Yet, here was Gu Yechen, not only touching her head but getting away with it. Jiang Qingyan glanced at Ning Qianxue's flushed cheeks, her mind racing. Could it be that Qianxue has developed feelings for Yechen? Is that even possible? Ning Qianxue tugged at Jiang Qingyan's hand, turning to Gu Yechen. We've reserved a table for you at Shueihua Pavilion. We'll head over first, and you can take a car to join us. Let us go. With that, she pulled Jiang Qingyan towards her luxurious vehicle and sped away, leaving Gu Yechen bewildered in the wind. Gu Yechen shook his head, having always perceived Ning Qianxue as a cool and aloof beauty, only to discover her fiery temper. Just as he was about to hail a taxi, a red Ferrari pulled up beside him. The appearance of the Ferrari drew the attention of most onlookers, the window slowly rolling down to reveal a strikingly exquisite face. How did you do? It was Zhang Yun, seemingly waiting there for him. Not bad. I should be in the top tier nationally. Gu Yechen shrugged as he climbed into the passenger seat. Zhang Yun smiled and lightly pressed the accelerator, the car roaring to life as they sped off. Zhang Yun glanced at Gu Yechen. Those two girls were. She knew she shouldn't pry. Yet her curiosity got the better of her. You saw them? Gu Yechen was surprised, thinking Zhang Yun had just arrived, but she had clearly been there for some time. Zhang Yun nodded apologetically. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. Gu Yechen took her right hand gently. There's nothing to apologize for. One is my sister, and the other is her close friend. They came to pick me up after the exam. Zhang Yun paused for a moment before nodding in understanding. They're already at Shueihua Pavilion, preparing a meal for me, Gu Yechen said casually. Zhang Yun nodded. All right, it's on the way. Meanwhile, on the other side, the scarred man had been lurking and gathering information, finally tracking down Li Zheng's routine, and conspired with 10 of his subordinates to confront him. All of them wore masks, and once Li Zheng exited his vehicle, they ambushed him, delivering a brutal beating. This group clearly had experience in such endeavors. They finished their assault and fled, even changing their clothes to evade identification. Even if Li Zheng sought help, he would find none. At that moment, Gu Yechen remained blissfully unaware of the unfolding chaos. Ding dong. The system notification chimed, and Gu Yechen glanced at his device, revealing a satisfied smile. He hadn't anticipated that the assailants would act so quickly, leaving Li Zheng battered and bruised. Gu Yechen contacted them via a virtual number. I've received the video. You all did well. I've transferred the payment. 230,000 in total. 200,000 was the agreed amount, and the extra 30,000 is for you brothers' hard work. Treat yourselves to something nice. Everyone should get a share. Gu Yechen was wealthy, and in his eyes, giving a little extra was inconsequential. He could always pass on unsavory tasks to them. After all, he was a person of integrity. Su Hu, having received the payment, was elated, surprised by Gu Yechen's generosity. He had expected only the 200,000. Brothers, this matter is to remain confidential. The employer provided 230,000, with 30,000 allocated for us to enjoy. The group buzzed with excitement. I'll take 25,000 for myself. Each of you will receive 10,005, and the remainder goes to the gang. Everyone agreed. As this had always been the custom of the Filong gang. Suhu then called the gang leader, Wang Long, who had connections in both legitimate and illicit circles, overseeing hundreds of subordinates involved in underground gambling and various entertainment venues. His demeanor was shrewd and ruthless, unyielding to any form of deceit. What is it? Came a voice that was both dark and authoritative. Taking a moment to compose himself, Suhu replied, Boss, we just completed an external task, netting 200,000 in revenue, and I've transferred 100,000 to your account. Wang Long, while smoking in his office, remained silent for a moment, then checked his other phone to confirm the transfer of 100,000. What kind of job was worth 200,000? He was puzzled, as such a sum was not commonplace. We were instructed to deal with a certain individual. This morning we took care of Li Zheng and submitted the video as proof. Suhu chuckled. Li Zheng, I didn't instruct a Biao to have you teach a lesson to someone named Gu Yechen. Why on earth did you go after Li Zheng? Wang Long's expression darkened as he questioned coldly. Boss, it was due to the opposing party offering 200,000 that we tackled Li Zheng. Suhu was somewhat confused, as Wang Long typically did not delve into such matters. Wang Long rubbed his temples in disbelief, realizing that his subordinates had mistakenly attacked the client instead of the intended target. Did you complete the job without a hitch? Wang Long was now concerned that a poorly executed task might lead to unnecessary complications. Don't worry, boss. We didn't reveal our identities. We all wore masks and changed our clothes afterward. He won't be able to trace us. Suhu responded cheerfully. Wang Long's expression softened slightly. So you're saying Gu Yechen paid 200,000 for you to beat up Li Zheng? That's an extraordinary amount for an 18-year-old student. His disbelief was palpable. Indeed, it was Gu Yechen who funded it. What's the matter, boss? Suhu sensed a shift in Wang Long's tone. Nothing, Wang Long replied curtly before ending the call. A Biao, look into Gu Yechen's background thoroughly. I suspect something is amiss. Chapter 34. Watching the live stream as Gu Yechen departed from Shuyuexuan after dinner. He could not resist pressing his lips against Ning Qianxue's fiery red ones. For a moment, Ning Qianxue was taken aback, standing still without any intention of pushing him away. Jiang Qingyan observed this scene with an unnatural expression, which quickly returned to normal. She chose not to linger, walking alone towards the parking lot, waiting for Ning Qianxue in her car. The sight of her solitary figure as she left evoked a heart-wrenching feeling. After a minute, Gu Yechen released Ning Qianxue. This cannot happen again. Ning Qianxue's cheeks flushed as she glanced at him. Gu Yechen nodded, saying, I understand, Qianxue. He then bestowed a gentle kiss on her forehead. With her eyes closed, Ning Qianxue eventually turned away and left. Upon returning home, Gu Yechen glanced at the system panel, discovering that his physique had reached 63 points. With 2 lottery chances remaining, I shall draw, he silently declared. The massive roulette began to spin, gradually slowing down after about a minute. Congratulations, host. You have received 1 billion diamonds from the Douyin platform, which has been sent. Gu Yechen was momentarily stunned, wondering if this meant he was to engage in live streaming. He opened his laptop, registered an account on Douyin using his phone number, and named it Qingfeng Minghua. To his surprise, there were indeed diamonds in his account. Casually browsing Douyin, he found it to be one of the largest short video platforms in the country, dominating a significant market share. At that moment, he stumbled upon a 5-member girl group known as LA101. His gaze was drawn to the center position occupied by a woman in a white shirt and long pants. Her hair tied up, she was exquisitely beautiful and moved with elegance, her dancing skills seemingly impressive. Compelled by an inexplicable urge, Gu Yechen clicked on the video. The highest title on Douyin was Custom, requiring a consumption of 300 million diamonds to attain, along with numerous privileges, including the ability to traverse to other live streams at will. Following that was Cosmic God and Eternal God, requiring minimum expenditures of 200 million and 100 million diamonds, respectively. Hence, one would need to recharge and consume at least 30 million to achieve the Custom title, making it clear that the status of Custom far exceeded that of the Eternal God. The wealth levels on Douyin were categorized into 32 ranks, from the lowest, Commoner, to the highest, Custom. Gu Yechen currently held the title of Commoner. Dear friends, we are now entering the PK segment. Our challenger is Ranan, and the defender is Tangang. The 2-minute challenge begins now. As the host's voice faded, the screen began to scroll, showcasing accounts primarily ranging from level 1 to 10, with a few barons and viscounts. The highest rank, God, represented accounts that had consumed over 8 million diamonds. Those who love Ranan, send hearts. Those who support Tang Tang, send little Douyin. Be careful not to drop them. Only hearts or little Douyin count towards the health bar. Just then, a user named Yuntian entered the live stream. Oh no, Tong Tong's big brother has arrived. Ranan is about to be backstabbed. Is there anyone to help? The comments section erupted with anxiety. Yuntian sent Tang Tang 10 sets of 1314 Little Douyin. The health bar instantly shifted to 1,000 versus 14,000, and the top-tier beauty, Xia Ranan, saw her health bar plummet. Thanks to Yuntian for gifting Tang Tang 10 sets of 1314. Thank you, Yuntian. Gu Yechen observed the two women dancing in the live stream, feeling as if he were watching a royal performance. System, can't the Eye of the Void see the data in the video? He had used the Eye of the Void to assess Xia Ranan's situation, but no information was displayed. The Eye of the Void can only see real-time, face-to-face situations. If it is a private live stream, then it can be accessed. You may also view details through this system, costing 1 billion RMB per inquiry. Gu Yechen cursed at the system's greed, lamenting, why would I pay 1 billion just to take a look? System, check Xia Ranan's information. Understood, host. Name, Xia Ranan. Age, 20. Appearance, 94. School, Tsinghua University, second-year student, known as the Campus Beauty Health. Excellent number of engagements. 0. Gu Yechen was taken aback, realizing she was only 20 and still a student. Most of the people he had encountered before were already graduates, and her appearance score of 94 made her the highest he had seen, second only to Ning Qianxue. In the video, the PK continued, with Xia Ranan's health bar at 5,000 points, with 30 seconds remaining. Gu Yechen sent 20 sets of hearts. Qing Feng Mingwei sent Ranan 20 sets of 1314 hearts. The health bar shifted to 27,280 versus 14050. Thank you, Brother Qing Feng, for gifting Ranan 20 sets of 1314. Brother Qi Feng is amazing. The host's eloquence shone, and viewers quickly noticed that Gu Yechen's account was new and had a low level. Indeed, others promptly clicked on Gu Yechen's profile, finding it empty. Yutian sent Tang Ang 20 sets of 1314 Little Douyin. Gu Yechen saw that Yutian was relentless, continuing to send gifts. Now sending 50 sets. Oh my goodness. Thank you, President Qing Feng, for sending 50 sets of 1314 to Ranan. Thank you, President Qing Feng. The host was ecstatic, while Xia Ranan, dancing, merely blew a few kisses. Gu Yechen sent a floating message. Bro, are you still in? For him, money was of little concern. He was not lacking in funds. Yintian sent Tang Tang 50 sets of 1314 Little Douyin. Thank you, Yintian, for gifting Tang Tang 50 sets of 1314. Thank you, Yintian. Qing Feng Mingyue sent Ranan 100 sets of 1314 hearts. The entire screen erupted, as one set of roses cost over 100 yuan, meaning Gu Yechen's 100 sets exceeded 10,000 yuan. Are you still here? Gu Yechen sent another floating message. Yintian, initially hesitant, was provoked by Gu Yechen and sent 500 sets. Time was running short, and Gu Yechen sent 1,000 sets of 1314 to win the PK. For him, face mattered most. Money was trivial. Readers, may you all prosper. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The host exclaimed thrice. Thank you, Brother Qing Feng, for the 1,000 sets of 1314. Thank you, Brother Qing Feng, for supporting Ranan. And thank you, Yintian, for the 500 sets of 1314. Quickly, let the fireworks go off. The comments section was left in shock. Is this the first time we've seen Yintian take a hit? Indeed. Ranan never won against Tang Tang before because of Yuntian's support. Who knew she would win this time? Fans of Xia Ranan flooded the comments section. Come on, Ranan, grab the microphone. Xia Ranan took the mic. Thank you, Qing Feng, for your support. This is the most gifts I've received during my live stream, and it's also my first win against Tang Tang. I wonder if Brother Qing Feng prefers singing or dancing. I can do so much. Her voice resonated, with comments flooding in. Silence is divine. Speaking is a disaster. Please don't sing. Gu Yechen was momentarily taken aback, surprised by the stark contrast of Xia Ranan's appearance and voice. He couldn't help but send a floating message. Ranan, how is your voice so mismatched with your looks? In an instant, laughter filled the comments section. Even the host was unable to contain his amusement. Xia Ranan, holding the microphone, replied, that just makes me unique. Brother Qing Feng, do you not find my voice special? Gu Yechen pondered for a moment and decided that indeed, it was quite remarkable. After all, the striking combination of an alluring figure with a commanding presence, coupled with a voice that contrasts so dramatically, creates a truly extraordinary effect. Chapter 35, Just Dance. Gu Yechen sent a floating screen message. It was indeed quite special. Then just sing a song at random. Upon sending this, a wave of lamentation erupted in the comments, with many pleading for Ran not to sing, but to dance instead. This puzzled Gu Yechen, but he chose to disregard it. As Xia Ran's singing commenced, Gu Yechen finally understood the reason behind the outcry in the comments. She was not your average singer. After listening for about a minute, he couldn't help but send another floating screen message. Why don't you just dance instead? He felt somewhat embarrassed to continue listening. Xia Ran stood frozen in place, wondering if her singing truly was that inadequate. The audience burst into laughter at the sight. Haha. I didn't expect even the new big shot couldn't tolerate Ran's voice. When I first arrived, I was startled too, drawn in by her stunning beauty, only to end up feeling quite awkward. The crowd engaged in casual banter, while Xia Ran pouted, declaring, I sing beautifully. Immediately, the audience commented, yes, yes. But sometimes her pronunciation is completely off. Xiaoran clenched her fists in frustration. I really want to punch you all. Don't hit us. Qingfeng Mingyue sent Ranran 10 love rockets. Come on, Ranran, just dance. Your singing is pretty good, I really like it. Gu Yechen smirked. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The female host's voice erupted again. Thanks to Brother Qingfeng for sending Ranran 10 love rockets. Thank you, Brother Qingfeng. Everyone, let us fill the comments with excitement. The 10 rockets instantly hit the headlines, which typically lasted for 180 seconds or 3 minutes. Any gift worth over 10,000 diamonds could make it to the headlines, provided there were no higher value gifts above it. As long as there were no gifts surpassing the value of 10 rockets during that time, it would remain prominent until the time expired. The advantage of being on the headlines was not only for show, but also attracted viewers to the livestream. In an instant, the audience surged from 800 to 10,000. Thank you, Brother Qingfeng. Thank you for your support. Congratulations to Brother Qingfeng for upgrading to King. Fireworks, please. After a continuous display of 10 fireworks, Xiaoran began to dance. Clad in a white shirt, her beauty, rated at 94 points, was indeed remarkable. And the difference would become significant with each additional point. Once the dance concluded, Gu Yechen remained silent, watching intently. Come on, Tang Tang, take the mic. The host called out. A girl in a dress stepped into the livestream frame. Thanks to Brother Yun for his assistance and support for our Tang Tang. Next, let us invite Tang Tang to perform for Brother Yun. I wonder if Brother Yun prefers singing or dancing. Our Tang Tang can do both. The host chuckled. The individual had already left. The audience commented, does Brother Yuntian feel embarrassed? After all, this is his first loss, and it was to Ranran. So what if he lost to Ranran? Strength speaks for itself. Brother Qingfeng's prowess is undeniable. The comments quieted momentarily before erupting again. Although the person had left the livestream, the host still requested Tang Tang to perform a dance. This was the least one could do, as gifts had been given. And even if the giver was no longer present, one had to complete the performance. At that moment, the screen split in two. Darn. I accidentally clicked the wrong button and started a connection PK. The host was somewhat speechless, having unintentionally opened a small window. Hello everyone. Xiaoran could only greet the opposing team. Gu Yechen glanced over. The opposing side consisted of a 6-member girl group, with the username ID, MCNT Get Enough. Their beauty was also quite striking, yet still paled in comparison to Xiaoran. The barrier of the eye couldn't discern their true appearance, leaving one to wonder how much makeup and beautification they had undergone. After a few pleasantries, the battle commenced. Gifts flooded the screen, albeit mostly minor ones. The stakes were set. The side with the lower health bar would have to perform squats, and if they continued to lag behind, they would have to keep squatting until the PK concluded. Zhou Jun, we cannot afford to lose this match. It's all up to you. Both sides began rallying votes, striving to defeat their opponent. Don't worry, I've got this. After declaring this, the individual named Zhou Jun immediately sent a love rocket, valued at 1,000 yuan. Gu Yechen observed Zhou Jun's level. He was a top-tier user, having spent over 16 million diamonds. The rules of the Douyin platform dictate that typically, a diamond yields a point of experience. If one sends gifts to themselves, only 50% of the experience is returned. A top-tier user would have spent nearly 2 million, marking them as a wealthy individual in the realm of live streaming. As anyone spending such a sum to enjoy live streams surely possessed some means. Thank you, Zhou Jun. Love you lots. The atmosphere on the opposing side was fervent, and there was more than just one top-tier user, seemingly arriving with a vendetta. Zhou Jun reveled in this, relishing the feeling of being adored. As the opposing team sent 10 rockets in succession, they decimated Xiaoran's team's health bar. The comments exploded with requests for votes. Yet only minor gifts trickled in. Without significant contributors, they could hardly keep pace. Yun Tian sent Tang Tang 10 love rockets. The individual named Yun Tian sent 10 rockets, which reached the headlines, bringing a small wave of traffic to the livestream. Thank you to my brother Yun for sending Tang Tang 10 love rockets. Everyone, let us fill the comments with 666. The host was quite exhilarated, as the gifts received tonight surpassed the usual amount. Thank you, brother Yun. Tang Tang was all smiles. The opposing hosts, upon seeing the 10 rockets, visibly deflated. It wasn't that they hadn't received such gifts before, but to receive so many at once was likely unprecedented. They began performing squats. Zhou Jun sent the MCNT Get Enough girl group 30 love rockets. With 30 rockets sent, they reached the headlines, trampling over Yun Tian's previous 10 rockets. The livestream room erupted into chaos, with comments racing by. Zhou Jun's generosity is astonishing. The Can't Get Enough girl group is on the path to fame. In LA 109's corner, upon witnessing the 30 rockets, their faces were marked with shock. Just moments ago, they had been elated over 10 rockets, only to be completely overshadowed mere seconds later. They too began their squats. Members of the Can't Get Enough girl group squealed in excitement, their faces flushed. continuously expressing gratitude to the camera. Thank you, brother Zhou Jun, for the 30 rockets. We love you. One by one, they blew kisses towards the camera. Zhou Jun, thoroughly enjoying the moment, sent a floating screen message, just a small gesture. At this moment, the popularity of both live streams surged dramatically. The 30 rockets triggered the headlines, drawing in an increasing number of viewers eager to witness this extravagant display of generosity. Zhou Jun's name was repeatedly mentioned in the comments of the Can't Get Enough girl group, piquing curiosity about him and further satisfying his vanity. Who wouldn't desire the adulation of the masses? Chapter 36. Ascending to divinity across the way, Zhou Jun observed the LA girl group performing squats, making lighthearted jests. If they were all in skirts, that would be delightful. TSK, TSK, TSK. That center position over there is quite impressive. He sent a barrage of floating screens, unabashedly revealing his behavior. The LA girl group was oblivious to the situation until someone returned with news, at which point their expressions shifted noticeably. Gu Yechen also caught sight of this and was curious to see if Tang Tang's older brother would make another move. However, after waiting 30 seconds without seeing him act, he decided to take matters into his own hands, launching 100 love rockets aimed at the opposing headline. Qingfeng Mingwei sent 100 love rockets to Ranran. Each rocket worth 1,000. 100 rockets totaling 100,000 was a mere trifle for Gu Yechen. In an instant, a surge of viewers flooded the live stream, drawn in by the headline, including numerous other streamers who came to witness this extraordinary scene. Many having switched from the opposing stream. Xiaoran couldn't help but cover her mouth, for it was her first time receiving such an abundance of gifts at once. Thank you, brother Qingfeng, for your support. The barrage of comments became increasingly rapid, all praising Gu Yechen. His backend received a multitude of private messages, several from fellow streamers. One stood out, clearly marked, Brother Qingfeng, I am Xiaoran. Thank you for your support. Let us add each other as friends. Gu Yechen glanced at Xiaoran's message, a smile curling at the corners of his mouth, having reached half the stature of a dragon king. He promptly sent her his WeChat information. Meanwhile, the never-full girl group began their squats. Zhou Jun, who had been so vociferous earlier, fell silent. Brother Zhou, help us. The never-full girl group cried out frantically. Zhou Jun, seated in his office, puffed on a cigarette, watching the live chat filled with insults. As a divine being, how could he possibly be defeated by a mere noble? He navigated to the 101 live stream, where he found the comments praising Qingfeng Mingwei, alluding to the fact that the older brother from the opposing side had fled. Upon entering the LA 101 live stream, Zhou Jun wasted no time in sending a floating screen message. The host of 101 had just begun to welcome him when he saw this unfolding. Heh, Qingfeng Mingwei. Are you certain you wish to oppose me? Zhou Jun scoffed, directly calling him out. Gu Yechen furrowed his brow and fired back with a floating screen. What is wrong with you? How I play is my business. Are you here to threaten me? If you have the guts, come and knock me down. The more Zhou Jun looked, the angrier he became, launching 200 rockets at Gu Yechen's headline, escalating an otherwise ordinary PK into a fevered contest. Oh, thank you, brother Zhou, for the 200 love rockets. Love you, love you. The never-full girl group was instantly elated. The 101 girl group resumed their squats, with only 30 seconds remaining. Brother Qingfeng, don't go overboard. The gap is too wide. It's unnecessary, Xiaoran interjected. However, Gu Yechen thought otherwise. For him, reputation outweighed wealth. Losing even 1 billion diamonds would not deter him from maintaining his standing. He replied to Xiaoran, rest assured, a few rockets are nothing to worry about. He then sent 500 lifelong love rockets, a sum of 3,000, directly kicking the opposing headline. Qingfeng Mingwei sent 500 lifelong loves to Ranran. In that moment, the live stream audience surpassed 100,000. 500 rockets amassed to 1,500,000. Such a display of PK was unprecedented, causing everyone in the comments to exclaim in astonishment. Xiaoran covered her mouth, her eyes glistening. She had not anticipated Qingfeng Mingwei's generosity. Thank you, brother Qingfeng. After bowing deeply, tears fell to the ground. Thank you, brother Qingfeng, for the 500 lifelong loves. With the host's words, the live stream reached unprecedented heights, Gu Yechen's fan count skyrocketing to 200,000 and still climbing. Many viewers who entered from the headline were astonished. 500 lifelong loves at once. 1,500,000 RMB. Incredible. Some remarked, this name seems familiar. Wait, isn't this the big shot who just sent 100 rockets to the headline? Wow, he has ascended to divinity. Qingfeng Mingwei? I haven't heard of this name before. Could he be from another platform? Speculation arose that he might be a new significant figure, rapidly attaining a celestial monarch level. Impressive indeed. Would the opposing side retreat now? Surely, no one would dare to compete for over 1 million RMB. But one could not be certain. For some, reputation outweighed financial considerations. With only 10 seconds left, Gu Yechen decided to play it safe, sending another 600 lifelong loves, just as he dispatched the gifts. Zhou Jun also sent 600 lifelong loves. Yet it proved futile, as Gu Yechen had already fortified his position. Ah, thank you, Brother Chi Feng, for the 600 lifelong loves. Brothers. Family. Brother Qing Feng is amazing. Let us dominate the opposition. The host was beside himself with excitement. Xia Ran took the microphone, her voice trembling with emotion. Thank you, Brother Qing Feng, for your support. I truly don't know what to say. Tears welled in her eyes as Tang Tang handed her a tissue. Gu Yechen sent a floating screen message. As long as you don't sing, it's all good. Laughter erupted throughout the live stream. Xia Ran, wiping tears from her eyes, replied, Brother Qing Feng, I sing beautifully. Yes, your singing is the best. Gu Yechen smirked. Wow, Qing Feng is so doting on Ran Ran. Millions of eyes were glued, captivated by his endearing words. Gu Yechen chuckled, switching his view back to the never full girl group. He entered and immediately sent a floating screen. Where's Zhou Jun? Are you coming back? You were quite formidable when you threatened me earlier. Don't lose face now. In his office, Zhou Jun had just shattered a teacup in frustration. Still reeling, he saw Gu Yechen's floating screen and smashed his ashtray in anger. He had already spent over 2 million, and as he calmed down, he regretted his decisions. Seeing Qi Feng Mingwei continue to provoke him only fueled his ire. But he recognized he was no match for him and chose to remain silent. Zhou Jun had spent lavishly on several streamers, especially since 2 among them were first-timers. And he had successfully wooed all 6. If not for Gu Yechen's provocation, he would not have splurged so recklessly. Though his family had some wealth, he would not squander it like this. On Gu Yechen's end, noticing Zhou Jun's silence, he sent a floating screen message. If you're broke, don't pretend. Before exiting, he entered the LA 101 Girl Group S stream, where the host's voice rang out. Come, congratulations to our brother Qing Feng on his ascension to divinity. Let the fireworks commence. Family, let us celebrate brother Qing Feng. Gu Yechen's fan count climbed to 400,000, while the 101 Girl Group gained an additional 100,000 fans. Xia Ran took the microphone. First, congratulations to Brother Feng on his rapid ascension to divinity, and to achieve it in just one night. Also, I thank Brother Feng for his support for me and our 101 Girl Group, and I appreciate all the family members in the live stream for your support. We are all deeply touched. This victory is hard-earned, so I've decided to sing a song for you all. With that, Xia Ran flashed a radiant smile. At that moment, upon hearing Xia Ran would sing, the live stream comments erupted in lamentation. New viewers, unaware of the situation, were captivated by the beauty and grace of the center position, though they noted a stark contrast in her voice. Upon hearing that Xia Ran was about to sing, Gu Yechen felt an inexplicable tremor deep within his soul as a chilling sensation surged toward the crown of his head. Chapter 37. Avoid confrontation. Gu Yechen could not resist sending a floating message. Shall we dance? What do you think, Ran Ran? Upon seeing Gu Yechen's floating message, the audience erupted in laughter. Brother Qing Feng has learned his lesson. While Ran Ran's singing was melodious and enchanting, the crowd yearned to see her dance instead. Indeed, let us have her dance. The comments were filled with pleas for Xia Ran to refrain from singing. Even the hosts and other streamers in the live broadcast could not help but chuckle. Brother Qing Feng, you decide. Do you prefer singing or dancing? Xia Ran pouted, her expression tinged with a hint of pride and playfulness, making her even more delightful. Then let us sing. Gu Yechen, watching Xia Ran, opted for singing, as her voice, though slightly tinged with a Chongqing accent, was oddly amusing. Xia Ran's face lit up with a radiant smile. All right, my singing is truly beautiful. What song would you like to hear? She was instantly invigorated. The comments flooded in with no, and Gu Yechen found himself stifling laughter. How about a rendition of heroic song? Gu Yechen smirked. After this suggestion, the comments erupted in laughter, the hosts and Xia Ran included. Brother Qi Feng, you hold me in high regard. Xia Ran wiped away tears of laughter, her eyes glistening. Gu Yechen's lips curled into a smile as he sent another floating message. All right, enough teasing. Just sing whatever you like. It will surely be delightful. Xia Ran immediately donned a proud expression. I knew my singing was good. With that, her voice filled the air. Although her tone was peculiar, the sincerity in her singing shone through, and the comments reflected admiration, though one could not discern the truth of their sentiments. After listening, Gu Yechen sent 10 rockets and typed a floating message. I have matters to attend to. Thank you to our brother Qing Feng for sending 10 rockets to Ran Ran. We appreciate you. The host's voice rang out. All right, brother Qing Feng, Xia Ran responded, sending a heart gesture toward the screen. Meanwhile, Wang Long sat in his office, a cigarette pinched between his right hand while his left lightly tapped the desk, seemingly lost in thought. After a moment, he slowly spoke. This is intriguing. A bio. How much courage do you think it takes for Gu Yechen to sever ties with the Jiang family? He even changed his name. Abayo scratched his head and replied, Brother Long, I believe this kid is simply unaware of his limits. The Jiang family holds considerable influence in Star Sea City, and we all know Jiang Feng's ruthless reputation. I never imagined he would dare to cut ties. He probably won't have a smooth path ahead. Wang Long shook his head, inhaled deeply, and exhaled a cloud of smoke. Abayo, your perspective is rather short-sighted. Gu Yechen's audacity may indicate he is destined for greatness. Investigate further into his experiences with the Jiang family and his activities post-departure. Abayo nodded, preparing to leave, when Wang Long called him back. Wait, also look into the Jiang family's attitude regarding his severance. Abayo acknowledged and hurried off. Left alone in the office, Wang Long gazed out the window, the swirling smoke deepening his contemplative expression. He had a nagging feeling that Gu Yechen's emergence might present unexpected opportunities. Days later, Abayo returned to Wang Long's office. Brother Long, I have gathered all the information. Gu Yechen was mistreated during his time with the Jiang family. They hardly regarded him as significant. After leaving, he seems to be doing well for himself, as if plotting something. Recently, he has been frequenting Shui Wuxian and is often accompanied by several strikingly beautiful women. The Jiang family scoffs at his severance, believing he will not create any significant waves. Wang Long's lips curled into a slight smile as he flicked away the ash from his cigarette. It appears he is an underestimated figure by the Jiang family. Abayo, have someone continue to keep watch over him. Let us not oppose him. He may very well bring us unforeseen advantages. The following day, shortly after 6 in the morning, Gu Yechen brushed his teeth, changed into fresh attire, and stepped out for a run. He had previously cultivated a habit of jogging. However, the disorientation following his transition had caused him to neglect this routine. Gu Yechen drove his Bugatti Chiron to the Shanghai City Sports Center, the largest arena in the city, equipped with a myriad of athletic facilities. It boasted both indoor and outdoor basketball courts, badminton courts, table tennis facilities, soccer fields, and more. As he set out, his car drew considerable attention. With fewer vehicles on the road in the early morning, he arrived at the sports center within 10 minutes. The roar of the Bugatti echoed, capturing the gaze of many within the facility. The Shanghai City Sports Center featured a parking lot. While entry was free for athletes, parking incurred a fee. The attendant, likely in his 40s, appeared somewhat anxious upon seeing Gu Yechen's vehicle, hastily surrounding it with a series of cones to prevent any potential damage. Gu Yechen acknowledged him with a glance and a word of thanks before commencing a leisurely warm-up. It is common knowledge that one should not engage in strenuous exercise immediately. Thus, he first walked 5 laps around the soccer field before gradually transitioning into a run. The morning sun had yet to ascend into the sky, rendering the air pleasantly cool. Gu Yechen completed 20 laps, seemingly unfazed by fatigue, as his body was accustomed to regular exercise. And he had enhanced his physique to a remarkable level of 62, arguably the highest on the planet. After stretching for a while and feeling his body relax, he made his way to the water dispenser, sipping from a bottle of sports drink. Just as he was hydrating, a commotion erupted in the distance. This was the resting area, where individuals, predominantly the elderly, typically recuperated after exercise. Curious, Gu Yechen approached the crowd, which had gathered around an individual in distress. He squeezed through to get a better view and found an elderly man, approximately 70 years of age, lying on the ground. The man's face was flushed, as if he were choking on something, while a woman beside him appeared distraught, her eyes reddened and filled with tears. It turned out that the elderly gentleman was a celebrated scientist, a national-level professor. Gu Yechen, endowed with supreme medical skills by the system, recognized the gravity of the situation. Upon assessing the man, he deduced that the elderly professor had suffered a cardiac arrest due to improper exertion, a perilous condition that could swiftly prove fatal. The critical window for reviving someone in cardiac arrest is a mere 4 minutes. Without hesitation, Gu Yechen sprinted back to his luxury vehicle to retrieve an AED. Most modern vehicles are equipped with an automated external defibrillator, and he swiftly returned to the scene. Chapter 38. Saving lives. Who are you to the patient? Gu Yechen inquired, gazing at the woman who knelt beside him. She lifted her head, locking eyes with him for a moment, and his mind was suddenly flooded with her data. Name, Han Chuxia. Age, 25. Appearance, 95. Health, recently menstruated. Times resuscitated, 0. A faint smile, almost imperceptible, graced Gu Yechen's lips upon seeing the information. This is my grandfather, the woman said, tears welling in her eyes. Gu Yechen's demeanor remained calm as he responded. Your grandfather has suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. Time is of the essence. Have you called for an ambulance? He swiftly began to assess the elderly man's breathing, heartbeat, and pupil response, retrieving an AED. The woman nodded, her gaze fixed anxiously on her grandfather. I've already called. Gu Yechen scanned the area and noticed a crowd gathering. Everyone, please disperse. Your presence is obstructing airflow, he instructed. He then affixed the AED correctly, and the device indicated it was ready to defibrillate. Do not touch the elderly man's body, he cautioned, pressing the activation button. The old man's body convulsed slightly, and after the shock, Gu Yechen initiated CPR. Han Chuxia watched the scene with bated breath, uncertain whether her grandfather would awaken. She could only observe as Gu Yechen valiantly worked to save him. With his assistance, the elderly man regained spontaneous breathing, though he remained exceedingly weak. Young man, thank you for saving my life. The old man expressed gratefully as he glanced at Gu Yechen. Gu Yechen smiled modestly, replying, "You are too kind, sir. It was merely a fortunate coincidence that I was passing by. However, you should still seek medical attention." The elderly man chuckled warmly. "Understood. By the way," he added, turning to Han Chuxia, "this is my precious granddaughter. You are my savior. Should you need anything, do not hesitate to reach out to her. If she cannot assist you, you may contact me." He then provided Gu Yechen with Han Chuxia's contact information. Han Chuxia scrutinized Gu Yechen, taking note of his striking features. His sharp brows and piercing gaze rendered him exceptionally handsome. The fact that he had just saved her grandfather left her with an excellent first impression of him. Gu Yechen, however, remained humble, aware of the elderly man's esteemed status. "Sir, you flatter me. I do not deserve such a title." Although Gu Yechen was a transmigrator with wealth, he felt he lacked the standing to accept such accolades. Perhaps this venerable gentleman could prove to be a valuable ally. Soon enough, the ambulance arrived. Gu Yechen exchanged contact details with Han Chuxia, captivated by her stunning appearance, which was indeed deserving of a score of 95. 2.5 hours later, Gu Yechen departed the sports center. After refreshing himself at home, he ventured out for a meal. His life was rather simple. He relished breakfast consisting of soy milk and fried dough sticks, his favorite. Who would imagine a man driving an 80 million sports car, sitting by the roadside enjoying fried dough? Few would likely conceive such a scene. As he savored his meal, a pair of sunglasses rested on the table. Numerous onlookers surrounded his luxury car, snapping photos as if the vehicle were theirs. Wearing sunglasses and holding a cup of soy milk, Gu Yechen stood among the crowd, intrigued by their eagerness to broadcast his car. "Do you know what kind of car this is?" Gu Yechen asked one of the live streamers. The individual turned, glancing at Gu Yechen, and without much thought, responded, "I looked it up online. It's a Bugatti Chiron, priced over 80 million. There are only 10 in the world. I can't believe we have one in our country." It's said that since production has ceased, finding one is exceedingly difficult, with some people spending over $1 billion to locate this model. Gu Yechen nodded. "You are quite right. This is indeed a Bugatti Chiron, though it's merely average." The streamer shot Gu Yechen a disdainful look, thinking, how could a Bugatti Chiron be considered average? Ignoring Gu Yechen, he continued with his broadcast. At that moment, a man approached, dressed in an expensive suit and adorned with a Patek Philippe watch worth around 500,000. He sauntered over to Gu Yechen's car, exuding arrogance as he addressed the crowd. "Take your pictures, but do be careful not to damage my car. None of you could afford to pay for it." The onlookers, noting the man's youth, around 20 years old, were taken aback by his ostentatious demeanor, clad in designer labels and sporting a flashy gold chain. He appeared the epitome of a nouveau riche. Despite owning the limited edition sports car, many found his tone excessively arrogant. Who would have thought this limited edition sports car belonged to him? Some whispered, questioning how someone who looked like him could afford an 80 million vehicle. "Relax. We merely wish to admire your luxury vehicle. We assure you we won't cause any harm." One person awkwardly replied to the arrogant young man, "Feel free to look. As long as you don't break anything, isn't that what cars are for?" He relished the attention from the crowd. The live stream viewers were captivated, as the Bugatti Chiron was a rarity, causing the streamer's audience to swell to 20,000, a staggering increase from his usual 200 viewers. Many viewers began sending gifts. Within the stream, astute viewers recognized the young man's identity. "Isn't that Hu Zichen, the heir of the Hu group?" "Indeed, that's him. Known for changing girlfriends weekly and allegedly forcing some to terminate pregnancies." One viewer noted the vehicle in the video. "I checked. It's a limited edition Bugatti Chiron, priced over 80 million. But isn't Hu Zichen driving a Porsche 911? How could he be associated with this Bugatti?" As doubts mounted in the live stream's comments, the broadcaster remained unfazed, buoyed by his newfound popularity. "Hu Zichen, may I ask a question?" he began. "Since I am live streaming, many viewers have inquiries. Would you be willing to discuss your beloved vehicle with them?" Upon learning the broadcast was live, Hu Zichen's face lit up with a smile, believing this would amplify his admirers. Without hesitation, he agreed, claiming Gu Yechen's car as his own. "Of course, feel free to ask." The broadcaster scanned for questions and soon posed, "Hu Zichen, a viewer noted you previously drove a Porsche 911. Why the switch to this limited edition Bugatti? They mentioned there are very few in the world. Where did you acquire it?" At this, Hu Zichen felt a surge of anger but suppressed it, responding with forced cheerfulness. "I usually drive the Porsche 911. It's too conspicuous, so I seldom use it. That's why many are unaware I own this car." Chapter 39. The concept of establishing a business empire. Upon hearing his words, the crowd exchanged glances, yet their understanding was palpable. After all, the prospect of a luxury vehicle being scratched or damaged was indeed alarming. Many viewers in the live stream listened with envy, while a small faction remained skeptical. For Hu Zichen's demeanor was undeniably off-putting. In an instant, Hu Zichen's popularity in the streaming room surged, with gazes directed at him laced with admiration. Step aside, step aside." Gu Yechen could no longer endure the spectacle. It was one thing to flaunt his extravagant car, but to refuse to pay an appearance fee was simply unacceptable. A mere few million would suffice. He was nothing but a miserly tightwad. The assembly exchanged bewildered glances. Who are you? Do you even comprehend what sort of car this is? Best keep your distance, lest you find yourself in a predicament you cannot afford. Hu Zichen eyed Gu Yeqing, dressed in athletic wear, with disdain. The host promptly pulled Gu Yeqing aside, saying, "Brother, don't approach. This car is not something just anyone can admire." Gu Yeqing shrugged nonchalantly. Addressing Hu Zichen, he inquired, "My good sir, since you claim this car is yours, would you be so kind as to produce the keys and take us for a spin? None of us have ever laid eyes on such a vehicle." Indeed, indeed. Young Master Hu, could you showcase it for us? The viewers echoed, eager to witness the spectacle. At that moment, Hu Zichen's expression soured. His intent was merely to boast. And he hadn't anticipated Gu Yeqing's interruption. Under normal circumstances, a demonstration would be unnecessary, yet now he felt cornered, casting a venomous glance at Gu Yeqing. Gu Yeqing gazed earnestly at Hu Zichen, curious whether this man could indeed operate the vehicle. Perhaps those from parallel worlds possessed superior abilities? I forgot the keys today. Moreover, this car is not for casual observation. Allowing you to take photos is already a display of my generosity, as this is the first Bugatti Chiron in the country. Hu Zichen attempted to divert the conversation. That's fine. We can wait for you here. The viewers are eagerly anticipating your demonstration. Your name is currently a hot topic in the stream, and they hope you can fulfill their dreams. Gu Yeqing gestured toward a host's phone. Hu Zichen felt an overwhelming urge to lash out at Gu Yeqing. This vehicle was not for those of their ilk. They should abandon such hopes. Furthermore, he had stated that he did not possess the keys and would need to return to fetch them. Who did they think they were? He was unrestrained in his retort. Young Master Hu, are you truly the owner of this vehicle, or is it merely an act? After all, you cannot even start it. Gu Yeqing smiled at Hu Zichen. But to the latter, it sounded like a death knell. What does it matter to you? This car is mine, not a pauper's. Hu Zichen, infuriated, produced a key. Seeing this, Gu Yeqing also reached into his pocket, pressing a button simultaneously with Hu Zichen. In an instant, the car emitted a sound, the lights flashing. The crowd gasped in astonishment. It truly was his. The viewers were filled with envy, albeit limited to mere admiration. Hu Zichen was taken aback by the Bugatti Chiron's apparent responsiveness. His face beamed with pride, as if the car genuinely belonged to him. Just as he intended to open the door to enter, Gu Yeqing locked the vehicle. "Brother, you mustn't touch this carelessly." Gu Yeqing smiled at Hu Zichen, whose discomfort was palpable as he struggled to find words. "All right, I shall no longer indulge in this charade." Gu Yeqing approached the Bugatti Chiron, pressing the key to unlock the door and sliding inside. With a flick of the ignition and a deft press on the accelerator, he left, waving goodbye, farewell. Young Master Hu, do refrain from flaunting others' possessions in the future. This left Hu Zichen in utter disarray. The streamers stood agape, stunned by the revelation that the ostentatious owner of the Bugatti Chiron was clad in athletic wear. Seated by the roadside indulging in fried dough sticks while watching others showcase his car, all while sipping soy milk with great enjoyment. Hu Zichen's face turned a shade of fury as he reflected on his previous actions, realizing the gravity of the situation in the live stream. The viewers had already turned against him, and he fled in disgrace. Goodness, that guy in sunglasses was truly the owner of the Bugatti Chiron. If only we had captured his face, lamented one of the hosts, with viewers expressing their disappointment. Hu Zichen's pretense as the car's owner further spiraled online. While such antics might have been overlooked with a common vehicle, the Bugatti Chiron was no ordinary car. Hu Zichen found himself trending at the top for an entire hour, with comments exceeding 10,000, all laced with sarcasm. Gu Yeqing found himself lost in thought while driving, struggling to believe the events that had transpired. Having often read novels in his previous life, particularly those involving time travel, he never anticipated that he would not only traverse worlds but also possess the financial prowess of a global tycoon and several exquisite companions, thoughts he had never dared to entertain before. In his past life, his nation was perpetually constrained by foreign powers, burdened by unreasonable demands. As an ordinary citizen, he had been powerless to effect change. Now, however, he possessed a system and a vision to construct his own business empire, aspiring to elevate his homeland to the pinnacle of the world. With this notion, Gu Yeqing's lips curled into a confident smile. Just then, a call from Ning Qianxue interrupted his reverie. Glancing at his phone in surprise, he noted that Ning Qianxue had taken the initiative to contact him, a fact he found intriguing. Yet he thought little of it. After all, she was now his woman, whether she acknowledged it or not, given their recent significant breakthrough. "Hello, Schwer. Missing me already?" Gu Yeqing answered the call with a smug grin. "Did you not call because you were feeling mischievous?" Ning Qianxue retorted, her tone frosty, yet a blush crept across her cheeks. Deep down, she felt a flicker of joy. Although their intimacy had occurred under dubious circumstances, at least it wasn't he with someone else. Gu Yeqing was not only handsome but also her best friend's brother, far preferable to another. "Come to the time CAF, I'll be waiting for you. I need to discuss something," Ning Qianxue stated before abruptly hanging up, leaving no room for Gu Yeqing to respond. He shook his head at the disconnected call, recognizing that Ning Qianxue was indeed somewhat pleased. How unexpectedly charming she was. His mind wandered back to that wild night with Ning Qianxue, a faint smile gracing his lips. When he learned she had been drugged by Jiang Zihao, his heart raced with anxiety and irritation. He feared that she might fall victim to Jiang Zihao's schemes, but fortunately, he arrived just in time. Had he been delayed by even 5 minutes, the outcome could have been dire. The more he pondered, the more he felt Jiang Zihao deserved condemnation. Chapter 40. 15% shares. In the elegant setting of the Times Promise CAF, Ning Qianxue sat across from Jiang Qingyan, who gazed at her friend with a complex expression. The upscale area typically consisted of private booths, ideal for discussions away from prying ears. Xiaoxue, are you truly going to do this? You must understand that if you proceed, your shares will fall short of 55%, Jiang Qingyan urged, having just received a call from Ning Qianxue. The news of her intention to transfer 15% of the equity of the Lanting Group to Gu Yechen startled her, prompting her to counsel her friend vigorously. Ning Qianxue shook her head resolutely. Xiaoyan, you know the truth. If it weren't for Xiaochen, I would have succumbed to despair. I cannot allow myself to be sullied by someone like Jiang Zihua. Had Xiaochen not arrived in time, I would have faced a fate worse than death. You should understand my nature. She looked earnestly at Jiang Qingyan and continued. So, Gu Yechen saved me, and in the end, we both crossed a line, merely a veil. It is far better to give this to Xiaochen than to let it fall into the hands of a worthless person like Jiang Zihua. Jiang Qingyan's eyes glimmered with unshed tears as she clasped Ning Qianxue's hand tightly, feeling a profound sadness for her friend. She understood Ning Qianxue's temperament and the dire consequences she would face should things go awry. Hence, when she had urged Gu Yechen to help Ning Qianxue, she too was filled with dread over the potential outcomes. Noticing the redness in Jiang Qingyan's eyes, Ning Qianxue grasped her friend's concern. Xiaoyan, this is not your fault. Had it not been for Xiaochen's help, I would have likely perished from the poison. Ultimately, this is something I share with him, and I have no regrets. A faint blush crept onto Ning Qianxue's cheeks as she spoke. Jiang Qingyan's eyes widened in disbelief. Xiaoxue, do you truly have feelings for? Rest assured, I would never compete with you for Xiaochen. Ning Qianxue's expression shifted to one of amusement, though she secretly acknowledged her growing affection for Gu Yechen. A sentiment she could never voice. Jiang Qingyan sighed. Xiaochen and I cannot be together. We are bound by blood. Our fates are sealed, and it is better to bury these feelings deep. After taking a delicate sip of her coffee, her gaze turned melancholic. Ning Qianxue grappled with whether to confide in Jiang Qingyan, especially since Gu Yechen had mentioned he would have many women in his life. Meanwhile, Gu Yechen arrived at the CAF, which was nestled in the bustling heart of Shanghai City, a place where the constant flow of vehicles and pedestrians was beyond ordinary comprehension. The CAF stood as a serene oasis amidst the chaos, infused with the rich aroma of coffee that seemed to narrate the city's rapid evolution. Decades ago, Shanghai was but a humble fishing village, now transformed into a vibrant metropolis. Upon entering the CAF, Gu Yechen was greeted by its uniquely designed interior, featuring redwood furniture that exuded a sense of history. Vintage artworks adorned the walls, creating a warm and tranquil atmosphere. In this fast-paced city, people from all walks of life entered the CAF daily. Exhausted workers, lonely travelers, and dream-chasing artists, finding solace in the rich flavors of coffee and shared stories. After arriving, Gu Yechen called Ning Qianxue. Moments later, she and Jiang Qingyan emerged to greet him. Sister, Xiaoxue, Gu Yechen exclaimed, surprised to see his sister present. The moment Ning Qianxue heard him call her Xiaoxue, her expression turned frosty as she replied coldly, I'm Jiang Qingyan, however, gazed at Gu Yechen with warmth. Have you been eating and sleeping well lately? Gu Yechen embraced Jiang Qingyan briefly before bursting into laughter. Sister, I want to neglect myself. I'm no longer just a young man. Jiang Qingyan smiled gently. That's good to hear. Remember, you can always come to me for anything. I will do my best to help you. Ning Qianxue felt a tumult of emotions, deeply concerned for her friend. She had not anticipated Jiang Qingyan developing feelings for her brother, and the thought left her feeling uneasy. Recalling the incident when she and Gu Yechen had been drugged and ended up in Jiang Qingyan's room, she could only imagine the turmoil Jiang Qingyan must have felt. Lost in her thoughts, Ning Qianxue was startled when Gu Yechen hugged her. Xiaoxue, why did you call me here? She quickly pushed him away, her cheeks flushed. Do not touch me so casually. Jiang Qingyan found amusement in Ning Qianxue's flustered state, having never witnessed her friend so discombobulated. All right, let us move on. Jiang Qingyan interjected, redirecting the conversation as she led Gu Yechen to a private room. What would you like to drink? Ning Qianxue inquired, glancing at Gu Yechen. Blue Mountain, he replied nonchalantly. Moments later, a server presented a cup of Blue Mountain coffee before him, bowing slightly. Xiaoxue, what was the reason for summoning me here? Gu Yechen took a sip of the coffee, appreciating its rich flavor, which justified its high price. Ning Qianxue, having grown weary of discussing him, decided to present a contract instead. She handed it to Gu Yechen, indicating he should open it. Confused, he examined the document, which bore the bold title, Transfer Agreement for 15% Shares of Lanting Group. Gu Yechen glanced at Ning Qianxue, speechless. He pondered the system's rewards, which also seemed to be 15%, leading him to realize that he had not received his reward after completing the task because it was tied to this agreement. However, he was puzzled. Was the Lanting Group? Xiaoxue, what is the meaning of this? Is the Lanting Group yours? Gu Yechen inquired, although he had a hunch. Ning Qianxue maintained a stoic expression, having grown immune to him, calling her Xiaoxue. As you can see, the Lanting Group is my company. I am the founder and chairwoman. Pride radiated from her face. You saved my life, pulling me from the depths of despair. This is my way of repaying you. Without you, I would have been lost. So please accept it. Although she spoke lightly, her heart raced with anxiety. Ever since crossing that line, she had become increasingly concerned about Gu Yechen's well-being. Gu Yechen turned to Jiang Qingyan. Sister, you're not going to persuade her? He gestured toward Ning Qianxue, adopting a serious demeanor. Jiang Qingyan shrugged. Once Xiaoxue makes a decision, not even an ox can pull her back. I've tried. It was futile. After a pause, she added, you should accept the shares. But you cannot sell them to anyone else. If you choose to relinquish them, you can sell them back to Xiaoxue. This way, her stake remains stable. Jiang Qingyan spoke with conviction. If Gu Yechen were to sell his shares, it could jeopardize Ning Qianxue's position. Realizing the wisdom in her words, Gu Yechen signed the agreement without hesitation, leaving his thumbprint as well. Rest assured, I understand this matter well, and Xiaoxue is now my woman. I would never betray her trust. Ning Qianxue's cheeks flushed crimson as she scolded Gu Yechen playfully. Jiang Qingyan smiled as she gazed at Gu Yechen, remaining silent. Yet in her heart, she pondered. After leaving the Jiang family, he had indeed become remarkably optimistic. Chapter 41. Do you wish to make a move? Gu Yechen drove towards the Shiyuexuan Hotel, fully aware that he needed to spend money, substantial sums. In fact, only through expenditure could he convert depleted funds into enhancement points, which would, in turn, strengthen his physique. In this extraordinary realm, one could never predict the emergence of phenomena that defy logic. The system was his trump card, and thus, he had to fortify both his physical condition and mental acuity, a prudent measure to safeguard himself. Gu Yechen glanced at his data. Name, Gu Yechen. Age, 18. Physique, 63, the average being 50. Mental acuity, 50. Clear-headed. Appearance, 95. Exceedingly handsome. Special abilities, experienced driver. Academic prodigy, eye of void breaking, golden kidneys, super combat skills, divine medical expertise. Special item, purple gold black card identity. Chairman of Shiyuexuan International Hotel, shareholder of Blueprint Group. Enhancement points, 0. Though his physique surpassed that of the average individual, it still left much to be desired, prompting a sigh from within. The vehicle came to a gentle halt in the exclusive parking space designated by Zhang Yun, where only his car was present. Upon arrival, it was already 11 o'clock. As Gu Yechen exited the parking lot and entered the hotel lobby, he encountered a group of 7 individuals. They hailed from Shanghai High School, sharing the same year as Gu Yechen. During the original owner's tenure, they had bullied him mercilessly, subjecting him to daily humiliation. The leader of this group, a young man named Hien, was the scion of a publicly listed company, wealthier than even the Jiang family. It was no surprise that even Jiang Zihao fell victim to his reprimands, yet the Jiang family remained unperturbed. Is that Jiang Nan, the son of the Jiang family's driver? Someone exclaimed. The group turned their attention to Gu Yechen. Indeed, it is him. Who would have thought we'd see him here? I heard Jiang Zihao had even exposed him online. They approached Gu Yechen, their curiosity piqued. Noticing the obstruction in his path, Gu Yechen frowned slightly. Is there something you need? He inquired, recognizing them. Jiang Nan, what a surprise to see you here. But tell me, can someone of your status afford this place? Aren't you worried about embarrassing yourself? A young man clad in a black t-shirt mocked him. Exactly. A meal here costs thousands. Can a pauper like you really afford it? Another chimed in, feigning realization. You're not here to work, are you? It's a miracle that someone like you can even step foot in Shiyuexuan. The group erupted in laughter. At this moment, Hien raised his hand, silencing his companions. He regarded Gu Yechen with disdain. Jiang Nan, struggling so much. I heard your girlfriend was taken by Jiang Zihao. Is it true? How tragic. He continued nonchalantly. How about this? If you kneel down and lick my shoes clean, I might consider letting you join us. Hien's expression was one of amusement, and the others watched with anticipation. Gu Yechen smiled wryly. I go by Gu Yechen now. Please do not misname me. He observed Hien with intrigue. Recalling how often he had been bullied by this person, now realizing that Hien believed him to be easily intimidated. Gentlemen, this is not a venue for your antics. A voice interjected as several security personnel approached, positioning themselves behind Gu Yechen. He Xiao, is that you? The lead security officer, Li Jun, recognized Hien. Indeed, any issues? Hien replied, confident in his status as a premium member of Shiyuexuan. You're aware of the hotel's policies, He Xiao. What you do outside is not our concern. But it's best not to cause trouble here. Li Jun, a retired soldier, stood firm. The security of Shuyu Exuan was top tier, with a rotation schedule and a monthly salary of 12,000, including meals and accommodation. Upon hearing Li Jun's words, He-An's expression darkened. As a premium member, I can do as I please. You have no right to dictate my actions. He jabbed a finger at Gu Yechen's shoulder. Gu Yechen glanced at He-An's finger, ready to retaliate, but Li Jun intervened, separating them. If you seek trouble, you've chosen the wrong place. Please leave. Since Zhang Yun took charge, significant changes had been made at Shuyu Exuan, instilling Li Jun with confidence against He-An. He-An's smile was laced with malice as he retorted. Is this how you treat your guests? And I'm a premium member. What authority do you have to eject us? Gu Yechen admired Li Jun's courage. He did not waver even in the face of He-An's status, earning Gu Yechen's respect. Li Jun met He-An's gaze directly. This is the decision made by our new general manager. No one is permitted to create disturbances at Shuyu Exuan, or they will be blacklisted, with consequences pursued. At that moment, a figure hurriedly approached. Gu Yechen looked surprised to see Zhang Yun. Are you all right? Zhang Yun asked anxiously, turning Gu Yechen around to ensure he was unharmed before she relaxed. The onlookers exchanged bewildered glances, especially the front desk staff, who began to speculate about the situation. General Manager Li Jun greeted respectfully upon seeing her, then turned to Gu Yechen, his pupils dilating in shock. Chairman, he exclaimed again, stunned to realize that the chairman was present, and he had nearly overlooked it, causing a wave of anxiety about potential repercussions. Gu Yechen nodded at Li Jun, then gently brushed Zhang Yun's hair aside. What brings you here? Exhausted? Zhang Yun's cheeks flushed slightly as she shook her head. I received a call from the front desk saying you were surrounded, so I rushed over. She turned her gaze toward He-An's group. The front desk staff were left in astonishment, piecing together the relationship between Zhang Yun and Gu Yechen, their disbelief palpable. He-An trembled, unable to fathom that Gu Yechen was the chairman of Shuyu Exuan. How could this be? However, witnessing Li Jun address Zhang Yun as the general manager and her demeanor towards Gu Yechen, he began to connect the dots, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. Filled with trepidation, are you attempting to lay hands on our chairman? Zhang Yun's demeanor shifted. She exuded an air of authority that chilled the atmosphere. Her gaze sharp and her words as biting as frost, causing He-An to shrink back in fear. Chapter 42. I need your assistance with spending money. He-An felt a twinge of fear and hurriedly exclaimed, That's not true. We were merely joking. Just joking. Joking? Do you think I'm blind? Zhang Yun retorted angrily, her heart heavy with the realization of Gu Yechen's past struggles, how he had been a target for bullying. President Zhang, my father, the chairman of the He Group, could you perhaps do me this favor? I assure you, it will not happen again. He-An's fear was palpable. He had frequently heard his father warn against crossing the Shuyu Exuan Hotel, noting its formidable connections, even with the authorities. Yet, he had dismissed those warnings as mere attempts to deceive him. This time, however, his dread was genuine. With a wave of her hand, 4 burly bodyguards emerged behind her, standing at attention in their sharply tailored suits, exuding an air of military discipline. Throw them out, Zhang Yun commanded coldly, to which the bodyguards nodded dutifully. Wait. Gu Yechen interjected suddenly, his voice steady, devoid of any hint of panic. His gaze towards He-An was icily piercing. He-An, wishing to avoid any further entanglements with Gu Yechen, longed to escape. The bravado he had exhibited at school had vanished, replaced by a trembling form. Is there anything else? He stammered, terrified of provoking Gu Yechen further. Gu Yechen regarded He-An. During our time at school, you were quite the tyrant, often bullying me. I am typically patient. But today, I have chosen to no longer endure it. He smiled, a grin that sent shivers down the spines of those before him, who now dared not even breathe. Within this hotel today, I shall not lay a finger on you. You may leave unharmed. However, should I encounter you again, I will not hesitate to ensure you spend several days in the hospital. Therefore, I recommend you take a different route when you see me in the future. Gu Yechen added with a mischievous smirk. Turning to Zhang Yun, he spoke with earnest gravity. From now on, they are forbidden from stepping foot here. Additionally, revoke He-An's membership privileges and ban the entire He family from Shuyu Exuan. Understood. I will issue a notice shortly, Zhang Yun acknowledged with a nod. Shall we go? You must have something important to discuss, right? Indeed, Gu Yechen confirmed, as he had urgent matters to address, specifically concerning financial expenditure, for which he sought Zhang Yun's assistance. Li Jun is quite capable, he remarked, striding towards his room. Zhang Yun smiled knowingly, instantly grasping Gu Yechen's intent. The position of head of security had yet to be filled. Li Jun, effective immediately, you are appointed as the head of security. The individuals before us are henceforth barred from Shuyu Exuan, as are all members of the He family. Zhang Yun stated coldly to He and Li Jun, initially bewildered. Had expected to be dismissed, yet was now unexpectedly elevated to a position of authority. Understood. He responded promptly. He-An's complexion turned pale as he contemplated the consequences awaiting him at home. His previous minor transgressions had attracted little ire, but this time felt markedly different, and he dreaded returning. Gentlemen, if you wish to avoid being forcibly ejected, you may leave on your own accord, Li Jun declared frostily, shedding his earlier demeanor. The group departed, with Hien in a daze. What should we do now, Higo? Should we retaliate? One of the lackeys in black suggested. Regaining his composure, Hien struck him across the face in frustration. What nonsense. My current status is that of the chairman of Shuyuexuan. Do you think you can act against me? Have you ever heard of anyone causing a ruckus at Shuyuexuan? Fool. Fuming, Hien stormed off. In the chairman's office of Shuyuexuan, Gu Yeqing sat at the dining table while Zhang Yun accompanied him, sharing a meal. The office boasted a spacious suite exceeding 200 square meters. After half an hour, having finished their meal, Gu Yeqing led Zhang Yun to the sofa. I have a request to make, he stated earnestly, his intense gaze surprising Zhang Yun, as it marked the first time he had spoken with such solemnity. Speak, and I shall comply with your wishes, she replied, leaning against his chest. Attuned to his heartbeat and scent. I need your assistance in spending money, Gu Yeqing said, tenderly stroking her hair, his demeanor calm. Zhang Yun was momentarily taken aback, regarding him with confusion. You want me to help you spend money? What kind of request is that? I require substantial funds, at least 50 billion, to start, he mused. Stroking his chin, considering it a modest sum. Anything less than 50 billion seemed unworthy of attention, as it would only yield minimal enhancements. Zhang Yun was astounded at the thought of spending such an exorbitant amount. You wish for me to spend tens of billions? Do you not regard money as valuable? She touched his forehead, then her own. You aren't feverish, are you? Why speak such nonsense? Gu Yeqing nearly laughed out of irritation, then pressed his lips against hers for a brief moment, releasing her only after a minute. I am not jesting. I speak with sincerity. Zhang Yun's face flushed crimson, unable to meet his gaze after the unexpected kiss, which had left her flustered. What are your plans? Do you have any ideas or strategies? She inquired, regaining her composure. Gu Yeqing gently ruffled her hair and softly replied, I envision establishing a commercial empire, particularly in the realm of technology, encompassing various sectors to benefit the public. He imagined the blueprint of his envisioned commercial empire. Zhang Yun, with sincerity, cautioned, Yeqing, are you certain about this? Building a commercial empire is feasible, but to cover all sectors is an exceedingly daunting task. Her concerns were valid, while developing a singular type of company would indeed be simpler. Attempting to engage in multiple sectors introduced a myriad of complexities, each distinct from the last. I have contemplated this for quite some time, and thus, I would like you to take charge of it. I possess a formula for a beauty elixir that can rejuvenate one's skin by approximately 10 years. Perhaps you could explore the possibility of directly investing in a company to conduct research and development. I firmly believe this will resonate across the nation, Gu Yeqing asserted. His words steeped in truth, for it was indeed a product bestowed by the system, guaranteed to be effective. Zhang Yun was left speechless. What did you say? A 10-year reversal in appearance. You cannot be serious. When have I ever deceived you? Gu Yeqing pressed a gentle kiss to her cheek. What must I do? Zhang Yun still felt uncertain regarding the details. I will establish an investment firm, dedicated to acquiring other companies to form my own enterprise. Gu Yeqing replied with a serene smile. Chapter 43. I thought you no longer wanted me, I assure you. This beauty elixir recipe was bestowed upon me by an ancient sage, though I have yet to test it. We must await the results to ascertain its efficacy. Gu Yeqing's expression was grave. Observing his seriousness, Zhang Yun did not wish to disappoint him, so she nodded. Very well. I shall keep an eye on the companies in this regard. Although Zhang Yun was skeptical about the existence of such a thing, her faith in Gu Yeqing was unwavering. With a gentle gaze, Gu Yeqing reached out to caress her hair and embraced her. Let us rest. Zhang Yun nodded in agreement, and their lips met in a tender kiss as Gu Yeqing lifted her effortlessly, carrying her towards the bedroom. Zhang Yun nestled against his chest, her cheeks flushed with shyness. In their candid vulnerability, they both fell deeply in love. 2.5 hours later, Zhang Yun rose to freshen up. Upon seeing Gu Yeqing lying there, her smile radiated even more brightly. She did not ask for much, merely a fragment of his affection would suffice. After preparing a feast, she called for Gu Yeqing to awaken. He rubbed his eyes, asking, why not sleep a little longer? First, go wash up. It's getting late, she replied. Her tone tender and considerate, reminiscent of a devoted wife. Do you have anyone reliable? I want to entrust Shui Weixian to someone you deem trustworthy. Gu Yeqing spoke while eating. Zhang Yun felt a pang of nervousness, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. She sensed that this moment had arrived. Yeqing, are you trying to push me away? Gu Yeqing paused, taken aback, before realizing the implication. How could that be? I am confident in my college entrance examination results, and I intend to attend Qingbei University in the capital. I want you to accompany me. Zhang Yun gasped, tears streaming down her cheeks. Gu Yeqing was momentarily stunned. Was it true that women were so emotional? He swiftly pulled her into his arms, offering her a tissue to dab her tears. What's wrong? Why are you crying? He asked, puzzled. Zhang Yun took a moment to compose herself, reluctant to admit that when she thought Gu Yeqing might no longer want her, she could not contain her emotions. She had never encountered anyone whose tenderness she cherished so deeply. I thought you no longer wanted me, that you would send me away, she said, wiping her tears, though her eyes remained a little red. Gu Yechen gently brushed his finger along her nose. Rest assured, you are too wonderful for me to let go of. While I cannot offer you a title, I will not abandon you unless circumstances demand it. If one day you choose to leave, I will not stand in your way. He held her shoulders firmly, speaking earnestly. As long as you do not cast me aside, I am content. Zhang Yin smiled, realizing she could not truly part with Gu Yechen. Even a modicum of his love was enough for her. She could not fathom how she would react if he ever asked her to leave. Gu Yechen affectionately ruffled her hair. No one truly knew the depths of his character, and he would not reveal his true self. The persona he allowed others to see was merely a facade. Your brother has graduated and is interning now, correct? Gu Yechen skillfully shifted the topic. Zhang Yin nodded. Yes, he has begun his internship. The situation is average. Gu Yechen, possessing insight from his system, was already aware of these details and understood the nature of her brother. Would you like your brother to work at Shui Wuxian when we move to the capital? The hotel will require new management. She hesitated. Is that feasible? He lacks work experience and is still in the internship phase. This might dishearten the staff. Zhang Yun believed in her brother's capabilities, yet acknowledged his lack of experience, knowing that Shui Wuxian was no ordinary establishment. Gu Yechen appreciated Zhang Yun's attitude. She did not seek to advance her brother's career through favoritism. However, given his understanding of her brother through the system, entrusting him with the role seemed appropriate. It's fine. Have him come. His major is management, and while we are still in the capital, you can help him familiarize himself with the hotel operations. Gu Yechen smiled gently, appreciating Zhang Yun's intelligence. He favored clever women. After sharing a moment of intimacy, Gu Yechen departed from Shui Wuxian. Meanwhile, at the Jiang residence, Jiang Feng sat in the main seat, his expression grim. Since Jiang Qingyin's departure, the Jiang group had shown signs of decline. Even his personal intervention had failed to reverse this downward trend. The atmosphere was tense, with the family seated in silence, even Jiang's mother refraining from speaking. Has Qingyin called? Jiang Feng rubbed his temples, weariness etched across his face. After learning the reasons behind Jiang Qingyin's resignation, the board had been persistently pressuring him, leading to his mounting frustration. No, Jiang's mother replied, her regret palpable as she reflected on her earlier insistence. What about you all? Has your sister reached out to you? Jiang Feng's tone darkened as he looked to the others, but they all shook their heads, further aggravating his agitation. Currently, the company remained stable. Yet those in the know had begun to notice a slowdown in operations since Qingyin's exit. While there were no immediate issues, prolonged absence would inevitably lead to complications. The board is urging me to bring Qingyin back, Jiang Feng stated flatly, his voice tinged with resignation. He turned to Jiang's mother. In the future, be mindful of what to say and what not to say. Qingyin is our daughter, not our adversary. He paused, then continued, if you persist in your previous ways, you shall no longer manage affairs at home. Jiang's mother fell silent, aware of Jiang Feng's methods. Call Qingyin, tell her to return and take charge of the company. Assuring her that her mother will not interfere, she just needs to come back, Jiang Feng instructed Jiang Lai. Jiang Lai nodded and dialed the phone. At that moment, Jiang Qingyin reclined on Ning Qianxue's spacious balcony, basking in the sun. This was a retreat Ning Qianxue had acquired for relaxation. The home had 2.5 stories, situated atop a hill with breathtaking views. Jiang Qingyin sipped a cocktail with one hand and enjoyed fruit with the other, reveling in her newfound comfort during these past few days since resigning. Just then, her phone, resting on the table, rang. She opened her eyes and glanced at the screen, frowning slightly. Why is Jiang Lai calling? She wondered, momentarily taken aback, but then a glimmer of realization crossed her face. Chapter 44. Return to the orphanage. Jiang Qingyin answered the phone, her tone frigid. What is it? Jiang Lai was taken aback by her demeanor, for it was the first time she had heard her elder sister speak this way. In the eyes of her younger siblings, Jiang Qingyin had always been a figure of icy authority. Sister, Dad asked me to call you back. He said the company president should still be you, and he mentioned that Mom won't trouble you anymore. Jiang Lai spoke hesitantly on speakerphone, fearful of saying something amiss. The entire Jiang family was focused on Jiang Lai's phone. Only when you need me do you want me back. When I'm not needed, you can simply cast me aside. And now, you've even taken back the house I lived in, as if afraid I might linger for an extra minute. And now you want me back? You truly do not regard me as a person. Jiang Qingyin scoffed, laced with derision. Hearing this, Jiang Feng felt a surge of anger. His most obedient daughter had turned out to be so rebellious. All right, Xiaoyan, just return to work, and we can discuss things properly. Your mother has realized her mistakes. There's no need for our family to be like this. As the head of the family, Jiang Feng's expression darkened, yet he maintained his patience. Jiang Qingyin took a sip of her red wine and spoke slowly. Oh, so now that the company is struggling, you remember me? I recall you were so adamant just a few days ago. Why the sudden change? I thought the Jiang family could last a bit longer. I never expected it would be this soon. Jiang Qingyan laughed joyfully, like a flower in full bloom. Jiang Qingyan, what do you mean by you Jiang family? Do not forget that you are still part of the Jiang family, and what benefit does this bring you? Why would you not want to be the president? Jiang Feng, suppressing the volcanic rage within him, glanced at Jiang Mother. If looks could kill, Jiang Mother would have been in dire straits at that moment. I want to sever ties. And you do not agree. After resigning, I have come to understand what life truly is. The days before were merely a struggle to survive. The Jiang group has become insignificant to me. Even if it were to collapse, it would not concern me. After saying this, Jiang Qingyan abruptly ended the call. Jiang Feng smashed his teacup in anger. This unfilial daughter. He clutched his chest with one hand and pinched his brow with the other. Dad, please do not be upset. I think sister just wants to enjoy a few more days outside. She will come back once she cools down. Jiang Ku, seeing her father distressed, immediately tried to soothe him. Did you not hear what she just said? She claims that the Jiang group's collapse does not concern her. Do you think she will return? Jiang Feng coldly questioned Jiang Ku, who was left speechless, unable to defend herself. Jiang Mother never anticipated Jiang Qingyan would be so resolute. She had hoped to persuade her to speak kindly to Ning Qianque and secure Jiang Ziheo's release. Now, given the situation, it was even less feasible. Jiang Feng shot Jiang Mother a glare and left in frustration. Meanwhile, Jiang Qingyan lay back in her lounge chair, reveling in the moment. What did the title of president matter to her? After toiling endlessly, she had been treated as though it were expected. She preferred to bask in the gifts of nature. Gu Yechen drove toward the orphanage, his childhood home, where many of his friends resided. He had brought numerous gifts, hiring a small truck for transport. The orphanage, having been established for over 30 years, was run by Director Qin Lan, who was in her 50s. She had dedicated her youth to this institution. Arriving at the orphanage, Gu Yechen honked twice. Uncle Li, open the door. Uncle Li, a retired veteran named Li Guosheng, was 62 and had worked at the orphanage for over 20 years, supporting Director Qin to ensure its continuation and its ability to assist more children. Peering out, he was astonished. Xiaonan, is that you? Uncle Li hurriedly opened the door, welcoming him in. Gu Yechen drove the truck into the orphanage courtyard, which spanned around 500 square meters, designated for children's play and exercise. After stepping out of the truck, Gu Yechen embraced Uncle Li. Uncle Li, long time no see. He smiled. The original owner had never returned since being taken away, as life had grown more difficult without familial warmth and affection. He feared revealing his past to the orphanage. Little brat, you still remember to come back. Uncle Li playfully punched Gu Yechen's shoulder, his joy evident. Gu Yechen presented him with 2 packs of cigarettes, saying, smoke less. It's not good for your health. Uncle Li's eyes lit up at the sight of the cigarettes, and he clutched them tightly. You're too kind, Xiaonan. Uncle Li. I'll go check on Qin Ma, Gu Yechen said cheerfully. Uncle Li nodded and waved him off. In the director's office, Qin Lan looked somewhat haggard as she worried about finances. Qin Ma, Gu Yechen knocked on the door and entered. Upon seeing him, Qin Lan's face brightened. Xiaonan, it's me. I'm back. Gu Yechen gently embraced her. Tears welled in Qin Lan's eyes as she had recently learned of Gu Yechen's hardships. Astonished by the suffering he had endured. It's good that you're back. How have you been? Quite well. Well-fed and worry-free. Gu Yechen smiled, continuing, Qin Ma, I brought some supplies. Do we have a large freezer here? Returning is enough. Why buy things? Qin Lan chided gently, though Gu Yechen took her tone as endearing. It's nothing. I have money now. This is hardly a concern. Gu Yechen boasted, his wealth exceeding 100 million, a stark contrast to his previous life. There is a freezer, but I'm unsure if it meets your needs. Qin Lan, upon hearing Gu Yechen's words, hesitated no longer. The orphanage had been financially strained in recent years, leading to reduced provisions for the children. All right, let us take a look. Gu Yechen observed the freezer. Estimating it had about 10 square meters of space, it seemed adequate. Driver, please help unload the truck. Gu Yechen handed a pack of cigarettes to the driver, who readily agreed, quickly assisting Gu Yechen in emptying the truck. Gu Yechen even gave him 500 yuan as a token of appreciation. Xiaonan, why did you buy so much? Qin Lan felt a pang of concern for Gu Yechen, knowing he had not lived lavishly in the Jiang family. Director, I have changed my name. I want no ties to the Jiang family anymore. I'm now called Gu Yechen. Gu Yechen explained. That is good. Very good. Qin Lan felt truly sympathetic after learning of Gu Yechen's past, relieved that he was now doing better. Chapter 45. Leave the financial matters to me. Qin Lan gazed at the myriad of ingredients in the freezer, her heart brimming with joy, yet she maintained a facade of composure. Qin Ma, how is the situation at the orphanage now? Gu Yechen inquired, having noticed the pallor on several children's faces and Qin Lan's initial unease. There is no significant issue, just that the orphanage is currently facing a financial shortfall, and the children's meals are rather meager. This is partly my fault, Qin Lan sighed. She refrained from revealing the entire truth, for the orphanage was on the brink of demolition, allegedly at the hands of the Jiang family. Qin Lan kept silent about it, acknowledging her own limitations as age crept upon her. The actions of the Jiang family were merely a consequence of Gu Yechen's circumstances. The orphanage now housed merely a handful of children, a stark contrast to its former self. Could this not be interpreted as an indication that the number of abandoned orphans had dwindled? Rest assured, Qima. Leave the financial matters to me, Gu Yechen declared. Retrieving his phone to call Zhang Yun, pledging a donation of 100 million in the name of Shiyuexuan Hotel to fully reconstruct the orphanage. That evening, after dinner, Gu Yechen reclined in the room he once occupied in the orphanage, which remained clean and well-maintained. He understood that the situation of the orphanage was far more complex than it appeared. Accepting the circumstances, he opened Douyin for a live stream, discreetly entering the LA 101 room. Inside, they were engaged in a PK battle, with LA 101's health bar rapidly depleting. This was not due to their lack of skill, but rather the overwhelming firepower of their opponents. The opposing side had already drained LA 101's 2,000 health points. Apart from Yuntian, there were no notable accounts in the live stream. Let us pool our resources. Each person's contribution is limited. Can we not alleviate Brother Yuntian's pressure? The host, Tang Tang, stood center stage, fervently soliciting votes, though her efforts bore little fruit. LA 101 boasted a health bar of 120,000, while the opposing team surpassed 260,000, a chasm in power. Gu Yechen glanced at the opposing side, recognizing that they were indeed on an entirely different level. The highest-ranking member of LA 101 was merely Yuntian, who bore only the title of a deity, having recharged less than 3 million. In contrast, the top player on the opposing team was a god among gods, exceeding 730,000 in recharge, accompanied by several divine and royal figures, an insurmountable gap. Seeing LA 101's team momentarily gain 10 rockets, the opposing side retaliated with another 10, pushing their score to an astounding 360,000. What is going on? Is no one left? Why are you even streaming with such pathetic performance? Just as Gu Yechen contemplated typing a response, a derogatory comment scrolled across the screen, igniting the collective ire of the audience, yet they felt powerless to act. As Gu Yechen prepared to intervene, someone emerged, restoring the health bar, a divine royal figure who, while not matching the opposing side's strength, at least made the numbers more presentable. Oh, you dare to challenge us. The opposing team retaliated with 100 rockets, swiftly depleting the health bar once more. Come on, bring it on. A bunch of poppers. The insults continued to flood the screen. Gu Yechen shook his head and sent a message. This is all there is. What strength is there to shout about? Upon seeing his comment, the audience found a rallying point. Chi Feng, show them what you've got. They just insulted Ran Ran. These people are mere troublemakers. Without further ado, Gu Yechen decisively pressed down the opposing team's health bar. King Feng Mingyu sends Ran Ran 100 lifelong loves. He kicked the opposing team off the leaderboard and ascended to the rank of Divine Royal. Thank you, Chi Feng, for gifting Ran Ran 100 lifelong loves. Congratulations on your promotion. Qing Feng, brothers and sisters, let us go. With a single leaderboard entry, Gu Yechen attracted tens of thousands to the live stream. Wow, King Feng Mingyu is back. The last time was unforgettable. Many recognized Gu Yechen and expressed their astonishment. Before long, the opposing team's 200 lifelong loves knocked Gu Yechen off the leaderboard, and they entered the chat with threats. Come on, let us see how formidable you truly are. A Divine Royal account sent a message, confident that their numbers would intimidate a single Divine Royal. A smile graced Gu Yechen's lips as he countered with 500 lifelong loves, reclaiming the leaderboard. He then entered the opposing team's chat and declared, those who do not join are but little dogs. The opposing team was evidently taken aback by Gu Yechen's audacity to unleash 500 lifelong loves, a staggering investment of 150,000. They were left speechless. Thank you, Chi Feng, for the 500 lifelong loves for Ranran. Family, let us move. The host of LA 101 was in a frenzy of joy. What seemed a lost cause had turned into a remarkable comeback. In Villa number 32 of Yushui Bay, Huzichen's popularity had finally waned after a severe reprimand from his father. Seething with rage, he had just watched a beautiful girl group on Douyin and wished to dominate them to leave a lasting impression, as he had successfully done with numerous other streamers. However, now seated at the table, his face was as dark as a pot bottom, having just been humiliated by a user named King Feng Mingyu. Meanwhile, Xiao Ran, the host from earlier, continued to express her gratitude, her words flowing incessantly. A university student on break, she had never anticipated such generosity and gifts during her live streams. Qing Feng, I will sing a celebratory song for your upgrade. Her unique voice chimed in. Gu Yechen chuckled but remained silent. Truth be told, aside from her lack of pitch, Xiao Ran truly sang quite well. The comments in the chat shifted dramatically, as those who had previously criticized her singing now surrendered in defeat, raising their hands in admiration. Xiao Ran, noticing the change in sentiment, smiled radiantly, her charm rendering even the flowers envious. The critics had fallen silent, now extolling the beauty of her voice, entirely forgetting their prior remarks. The song Isnt off key. Apologies, I never claimed that. Just being pretty is enough. A user named Babadogu sent a message, causing Xiao Ran to proudly lift her head. See, I knew I sang beautifully. The laughter from the behind-the-scenes host was uncontainable, echoing throughout the room. At that moment, Chapter 46, the final showdown, losers must delete their accounts. At that moment, the atmosphere turned tense as the notification of the arrival of the deity Hushua appeared in the chat of the 101 Girl Group livestream. While the audience was enjoying themselves, an alarming red message flashed in the upper left corner. Qingfeng Mingwei, are you certain you wish to oppose our Golden Glory Guild? The words dripped with disdain from the deity, known as Hushua. Gu Yechen glanced over, recognizing him as the recently arrived deity. The audience in the live stream was momentarily stunned, their chat filled with disbelief. Do we know each other? I was just enjoying the stream, and you come in here with threats. Have you lost your mind? Gu Yechen sent a message, swiftly gaining the upper hand in the verbal exchange. Hushua responded with another message, warning. I advise you not to meddle in matters that do not concern you, or else our Golden Glory Guild will not hesitate to retaliate. Husikin sought to exert pressure on Gu Yechen, hoping that Qifeng Mingwei would back down, as he was aware that Gu Yechen was merely a deity. While they had several powerful allies, including one of the supreme deities, the supreme deity, I Am Steady, has entered the live stream. The chat erupted in excitement. No way. The supreme deity has truly descended. Wealthy viewers, having spent over 6 million, flooded in. Just as the 101 Girl Group was about to welcome him, I Am Steady immediately sent a message. Qingfeng Mingwei, do not stir up trouble. Soon, several other deities and monarchs joined in, echoing the sentiment for Gu Yechen to refrain from interference. The atmosphere in the live stream became palpably tense. I Am Steady was contemplating sending 600 loves of a lifetime to the stream, directly overshadowing Gu Yechen's prominence. Gu Yechen was no pushover. He smiled slightly, feeling the provocation. You stepped on my toes, and I want to take it lying down. He retaliated with a barrage of 1,000 loves of a lifetime, reclaiming his position at the top. Thank you, brother Qingfeng, cheered Xiao Ran, thrilled that Qingfeng Mingwei had stood his ground. Are you sure you wish to oppose us? I Am Steady sent a message, cautioning Gu Yechen against further involvement, hinting at unknown consequences. What? You can't defeat me? And yet you threaten me? Gu Yechen shot back, mocking. In a villa in Modu, a man sat in his study, his expression grim as his long fingers flew across the keyboard. His name was Li Yunting, the arrogant second son of the Li family, one of Modu's 8 prominent families. With his striking looks and tall stature, he embodied the typical wealthy heir. Qingfeng Mingwei, I suggest you tread carefully. You might end up unable to afford clothes. He glared at the livestream. Others echoed his sentiments. In the 101 Girl Group's livestream, the host looked grim as the chat devolved into chaos, filled with insults exchanged between fans. Gu Yechen deemed them all mere blusterers, incapable of backing up their threats. I Am Steady is contemplating sending 1,000 loves of a lifetime, which would elevate him to the status of a creator god. Since you're so formidable, why not challenge us? Let us see if you alone can match our numbers. Losers must delete their accounts. I Am Steady declared, marking this as a declaration of war. Gu Yechen furrowed his brow, incredulous. Why should I engage in such a ridiculous wager? But given his vast resources, he relished the idea of sending them to delete their accounts. Bring it on. I fear no one. I want to waste my breath on you. You're not worthy of my words. Gu Yechen retorted, sending 2,000 loves of a lifetime to kick their prominence down. The conflict escalated rapidly, the initial skirmishes transforming into an unrestrained battle. Once the gauntlet was thrown, the opposing side responded fiercely, launching hundreds of gifts in retaliation. The blood count soared past 10 million. Qingfeng Mingwei sent a sword to open the heavenly gate, 1,000. A single gift worth 10,000 instantly boosted their status to ancient god, leaping over 2 ranks. The chat erupted with excitement. An ordinary PK had unexpectedly racked up a staggering 20 million RMB. The department head of the Douyin live streaming platform watched in delight, promptly instructing staff to increase the stream's visibility. Viewers flooded in, and the online audience swelled to over 1 million. Wow, this lunatic! The opposing fans were dumbfounded, realizing Qifeng Mingwei dared to stand against them, instantly elevating to the ancient god level, far surpassing their newly minted creator god. Come on, I'm waiting. Gu Yechen taunted, his health bar remaining steady as his opponents ground their teeth in frustration. Don't get cocky. I Am Steady continued to send messages. Brothers, if you lose, you must delete your accounts. The entire platform will know of your betrayal. Hurry and take me down. Gu Yechen's taunt incited laughter from the viewers, raising their blood pressure. Brothers, let us all attack and take him down. I Am Steady could no longer contain himself, and he sent 500 loves of a lifetime, bolstering their health bars. Just as they thought they could catch their breath, Gu Yechen retaliated with another 500, unleashing a torrent of insults upon the 101 Girl Group. He single-handedly sent them all packing with a flurry of virtual tickets. As an ancient god, he had the authority to silence and banish others at will, with the ability to do so repeatedly. What now? I Am Steady. Aren't you so powerful? Why aren't you sending gifts anymore? I'm getting tired waiting. Gu Yechen mocked, knowing no one could kick him from the live stream, not even the hosts, unless they possessed equal or greater authority. Chapter 47. Forgiving them is a matter for the heavens. My only duty is to bring them down. In the enchanting city of Magic Capital. Within the confines of the luxurious man-fainting villa District Number 3, Li Yuning sat in his study, utterly disheartened, despite his numerous attempts to gain the upper hand. He was astounded to find that Qin Feng Mingwei could keep pace with him, and worse still, mock him. Previously, he had been the center of attention, basking in the glow of admiration whenever he entered a live stream, but this time he had fallen flat on his face. Inside the live stream, Gu Yecheng's barrage of messages continued unabated. What's wrong, steady brother? Weren't you quite the threat just a moment ago? Now you can't even muster a sound? People like you trying to act tough? Go learn for 2.5 years and come back. Gu Yecheng returned to the live stream, determined to keep an eye on things to avoid any missteps. As the time ticked away, he unleashed 1,000 loves of a lifetime, while his opponent matched him with another 1,000. Such a move would have been explosive anywhere else, but here it amounted to nothing as it was effectively countered. My goodness. Thanks to Brother Qingfeng for supporting Ranran. What a masterstroke. The host's voice erupted with excitement, igniting a frenzy in the entire 101 livestream room. Gu Yecheng's followers surged to 800,000, despite having no content to show, and their numbers continued to climb, accompanied by an influx of private messages. Xiaoran took the microphone. First, I want to thank. Before she could finish, a message flew across the screen. Don't speak yet. Wait for me to return. I'm going to find the others and make them delete their accounts. With that, Qin Feng Mingyue vanished, only to appear in Thinking of You's livestream. The host and viewers of the 101 livestream were left dumbfounded, many of them following suit. Where are the folks who challenged me earlier? Step forward and explain how to delete your accounts. Li Yunting, witnessing the scene, clutched his chest and gasped for breath. It would have been one thing if he hadn't stolen anything, but now they were genuinely coming to his doorstep. After a few tense moments of silence, no one dared to show up. What's this? Planning to be cowards? Gu Yecheng remarked, still waiting for someone to face the music. What a bunch of useless fools. You all pretended well at first, but now you're hiding like rats. He glanced at Thinking of You's stream, which featured a 5-member girl group. Their appearances varied, but the center position was occupied by a petite and charming girl. System, check the data for the center position. Yes, host. Deducting 100 million. Gu Yecheng's eyelids twitched. The system was truly merciless with its deductions. Name, Chen Rong, age, 25, appearance, 89, health, gynecological issues, contagious. Number of times developed, 7 people, and she's got contagious gynecological issues. Gu Yecheng cursed his misfortune and quickly sent out a message. I'm quite steady. If you have something to say, now's the time. If you don't want to delete your accounts and retreat from the internet, just say it. It's merely a matter of losing face. You could even shout that you're foolish, and I might consider letting you off the hook. A voice piped up. Brother Qifeng, could you spare our elder brother? I apologize on their behalf. Could you forgive us? Gu Yecheng felt goosebumps rise on his skin, momentarily stunned, before responding, a bet is a bet. If I lost, I wouldn't hesitate. Forgiving them is a matter for the heavens. My duty is merely to eliminate their accounts. What, brothers, do you lack the courage for this small task? Clearly, it reflects your untrustworthiness in reality. Gu Yecheng continued to ridicule them, intent on pushing them to their limits. In the man-fainting villa district, Li Yuning's face was a portrait of fury, yet he felt utterly helpless, as Qifeng Mingyue's taunts left him feeling as though he had swallowed something revolting. No need to flaunt here. I will fulfill my promise. With that, he clutched his chest, gasping, and promptly deactivated his account. Gu Yecheng observed this and sent out another message. Good, good, isn't this what we needed? Others, hurry and follow suit. Everyone looked at the I'm Quite Steady account, which had already disappeared, deactivated. Unbelievable, a creator god really deleted their account. The viewers were in disbelief. Just then, a new account entered the stream, named I'm Not Quite Steady. Gu Yecheng was taken aback, surprised to see a new account had emerged. This is my issue. I have already deactivated my account. It has nothing to do with them. The new account sent a message. Everyone admired him, impressed that he had deactivated his account, yet still considered others, earning him considerable praise. But they just jumped out and attacked you as well. Gu Yecheng chuckled and replied, so they should also deactivate their accounts. You wouldn't want to be seen as untrustworthy, would you? You wouldn't want to be pointed at every day on this platform, would you? Li Yunting could no longer bear it. He had reached his breaking point. Clutching his chest, trembling, he dialed emergency services, feeling a sharp pain in his lungs. The others, filled with anger, ultimately deactivated their accounts, leaving only one account, Hu Shuo, active. Hu Zichen muttered curses as he contemplated his decision. Torn between not wanting to deactivate his divine account and being annoyed by Qifeng Mingyue's taunts. Hey, Hu Shuo, they've all deactivated. Have you come to your senses? Gu Yecheng continued to tease, and the comments echoed the sentiment. Finally, Hu Zichen grit his teeth, stomped his foot, and deactivated his account. Upon seeing this, Gu Yecheng nodded and prepared to leave. Before exiting, he sent one last message. Brothers, enjoy your meals and have fun. I'm off now. Returning to the 101 Girl Group live stream, Xia Ran stood at the center. This time, Gu Yeqing did not go incognito but entered directly. The eternal god, Qingfeng Mingwei, has arrived in the live stream. As soon as Gu Yeqing entered, the host's voice rang out. Let the festivities begin. Instantly, the entire live stream was ablaze with fireworks, with countless messages of celebration filling the screen. Such enthusiasm. Gu Yeqing sent a message. That essay must. The host replied. Thanks to Brother Qingfeng for supporting Ranran, and also thanks to Brother Baozi and Brother Yuntian for supporting our host. Today has been our most challenging battle. At this moment, we truly don't know what words of gratitude to express, as we are simply too excited. In any case, thank you all. Now, let's hand the stage over to our Ranran. Brother Qingfeng, what song would you like to hear? Xia Ran's distinct voice chimed again. Gu Yeqing pondered for a moment and said, let us go with a Cantonese song. I like you. Gu Yeqing's favorite songs were by Beyond, but regrettably, the lead singer had passed away unexpectedly, and Under the Vast Sky became his swan song. Otherwise, surely we would have heard more Beyond Under the Vast Sky. Unfortunately, this world mirrored the previous one almost exactly, also in 93. Chapter 48, The Small Official of Star Sea City. The following morning, Gu Yeqing rose early to engage in his daily exercise regimen. 2 hours of physical activity left him invigorated for the day ahead. Readers, too, should prioritize regular exercise. After breakfast, the clock struck 8. Ding dong. Gu Yeqing's phone rang. It was Zhang Yun calling. Perhaps she had successfully accomplished what he had asked. He answered the call with a sense of anticipation, but the news that followed enveloped him in a chilling dread. Yeqing, I followed up on the matter you mentioned yesterday, but it has not yielded success. The Starlight Orphanage has been included in the demolition plan, and construction is expected to commence in about a month. According to my research, this decision was orchestrated by the Jiang family shortly after your severance of ties with them. I believe it is highly likely that they are behind this. Zhang Yun conveyed all that she knew to Gu Yeqing. Yeqing, are you there? Are you all right? Zhang Yun inquired anxiously, but the call was abruptly terminated. Gu Yeqing sat on the stone steps of the orphanage, gazing into the distant horizon, his mind swirling with countless thoughts. The birds chirped nearby, and the sun had already risen. Qin Lan noticed Gu Yeqing lost in contemplation and approached to sit beside him. Xiao Chen, do you have something on your mind? Why are you sitting here in a daze? Director Qin, I sense something amiss with the orphanage. Are you concealing something from me? Gu Yeqing met Qin Lan's gaze, yearning to hear the truth from her lips. Qin Lan maintained an expression of calm composure, devoid of any signs of distress. Not at all. It's merely that a few children are struggling with their meals. But with all that you've provided, they can enjoy several hearty meals. Qin Lan replied with a warm smile, embodying a nurturing demeanor. Gu Yeqing scrutinized her features. She was in her 50s, with a scattering of white hair, darkened skin, and a frail physique, having devoted everything to the orphanage. Yet now, due to his predicament, the orphanage faced demolition. Qin Ma, please be honest with me. Is the orphanage slated for demolition? Gu Yeqing asked directly. Qin Lan remained silent, instead watching the children play in the distance, her smile radiating kindness, akin to a loving mother. Is it the Jiang family's doing? Is it because of me? Gu Yeqing pressed further. Though he had already formed a conclusion in his heart, he desired to hear it confirmed. Qin Lan turned her head to glance at Gu Yeqing before looking back at the children. It has nothing to do with you. The truth is, I am growing old and can no longer manage this. My greatest fear is that, after the demolition, these children will have nowhere to go. The oldest among them is merely 8, and the youngest is just 4. As she spoke, her eyes began to glisten with unshed tears. I will resolve this matter. You needn't worry, Gu Yeqing reassured her. After speaking, he rose and returned to his room, gathering his belongings, preparing to leave. Just then, a commotion erupted outside, and a group of individuals stormed into the orphanage, causing the children to cower behind Qin Lan in fright. Director Qin, per the notice from above, you have less than a month left. You must vacate this place within a week, as instructed. Please move out today, or we will have to take matters into our own hands, a uniformed man stated flatly as he approached Qin Lan. Didn't they say a month? Why has it suddenly changed to a week? Qin Lan trembled as she inquired. The leader of the group displayed impatience. It's of no use asking me. This is the directive from above. I am merely executing orders. You should comply and avoid unnecessary trouble. Gu Yeqing emerged from his room and regarded them with a steely gaze. I wonder who you serve? The Jiang family? Or are you merely their paid thugs? Master Gu, what brings you here? 2 individuals within the crowd eyed Gu Yeqing warily. Upon recognition, Gu Yeqing noted they were 2 of the Jiang family's bodyguards. Did the Jiang family send you to do this? Gu Yeqing questioned coldly. This has nothing to do with the Jiang family. It is simply an order from above. One bodyguard replied, recalling that Jiang Nan had severed ties with the Jiang family and had since adopted a new name, lowering their guard. Oh, where is this government order? Let me see it. Gu Yeqing demanded, his expression darkening. Mr. Gu, this doesn't seem to concern you, does it? one bodyguard retorted. Gu Yechen fixed his gaze upon him, advancing with purpose. So, you intend to forcibly demolish it? This is not our concern. We're merely assessing the situation. However, according to orders, demolition must commence tomorrow. It would be wise for you to vacate today, lest you be thrown out, one bodyguard replied arrogantly. Gu Yechen's right fist clenched, and he struck the bodyguard squarely in the abdomen. The bodyguard's face contorted in pain, blood trickling from his lips as he collapsed to the ground. Do you dare lay a hand on me? The lead uniformed man's expression soured instantly. You must face consequences for disregarding public officials. Gu Yechen narrowed his eyes, unleashing a punch upon the foremost uniformed officer, followed by a swift succession of blows that incapacitated the rest. He approached the leader and inquired, "How much do you earn in a month to engage in such reckless actions?" After speaking, he delivered a kick that rendered the man unconscious. Return and inform Jiang Feng that if he dares to pursue the orphanage again, I shall bring the Jiang group to its knees. I mean every word, Gu Yechen warned, landing a final punch on another bodyguard before expelling the entire group from the premises. Xiao Chen, are you all right? Qin Lan questioned with concern, her gaze fixed on Gu Yechen. It's unnecessary to oppose them. We will only suffer. Qin Ma, if anything arises, ensure you contact me. Rest assured, this issue will be resolved swiftly, Gu Yechen said, offering her a reassuring smile before turning away, his expression hardening, a hint of fury brewing within. Jiang family, if you wish to play this game, then I shall oblige. Gu Yechen drove away from the orphanage, contemplating how to address this predicament. If he were absent, the orphanage would undoubtedly face demolition. The simplest solution would be to reveal his identity as the chairman of Shui Yuexuan Hotel, yet Gu Yechen hesitated to disclose this. He reached for his phone and dialed a number. Hello, Miss Han, it's Gu Yechen, he greeted coolly, recalling the elder's words that if he encountered difficulties, he could seek assistance from Han Chuxia, who would escalate matters to him if necessary. Mr. Gu, hello? Han Chuxia responded, momentarily taken aback, before her tone shifted to one of warmth. It seems you're facing an insurmountable issue? Gu Yechen relayed the situation concerning the orphanage to Han Chuxia. Upon hearing the details, she grasped the situation and promptly made a call, relaying everything to her acquaintance. Mr. Gu, rest assured, I have informed a gentleman I know who holds a minor official position in Starsea City. He will assist you in resolving this matter. Chapter 49. A forged painting? A minor official? Gu Yechen was momentarily taken aback. Thank you. I'll treat you to a meal sometime. Sure. It's always delightful to have someone treat you to a meal. When will you invite me? Han Chuxia seemed to have transformed completely, her previous aloof demeanor replaced with an unexpected warmth. Gu Yechen had merely been speaking casually, not anticipating her enthusiastic response, which left him feeling somewhat awkward. In a few days, I'll notify you then, Gu Yechen replied with a smile, shaking his head. Great. By the way, my grandfather's birthday banquet will be held at the Shui Yuexuan Hotel in 10 days. He has been urging me to invite you. I wonder if you'll be available? Gu Yechen pondered for a moment. The old gentleman was a decent man, a scientific expert, and undoubtedly had influential connections. While he was wealthy and had his own resources, he recognized the paramount importance of solid and reliable relationships, as opposed to those merely built on financial transactions. Sure, I'll be there, he affirmed. After exchanging a few more pleasantries, Han Chuxia ended the call. Chuxia, who called you? A resolute-looking man stood before Han Chuxia in the office. He was her bodyguard. Yi Fan, reputed to be a formidable soldier, returned from abroad. After seeing Han Chuxia, he became infatuated and sought every opportunity to be close to her, even devising a plan to rescue her father during a perilous incident. On one occasion, when Han Chuxia's father faced danger, Yi Fan acted swiftly to save him. Consequently, he was assigned to protect Han Chuxia, with intentions of matchmaking her with him. Han Chuxia glanced up, her expression filled with irritation. Could you please leave? Can't you see I'm working? Your presence here is nothing but a distraction. She harbored a strong aversion to him. Merely seeing him made her want to lash out. Chuxia, don't be upset. I'm only following the chairman's orders to protect you, Yi Fan replied, attempting to placate her. Han Chuxia's anger flared. Get out this instant. You are not allowed to set foot in my office without my permission. Yi Fan hesitated, torn between his duty and the fear of inciting her wrath, ultimately retreating to the doorway, resembling a guardian statue that only heightened her discomfort. In a few days, it's my grandfather's birthday, Han Chuxia murmured to herself. Her grandfather was an expert in scientific research, and she was uncertain what gift to present. He had a penchant for antiques. Perhaps she could explore that avenue. With her bag in hand, Han Chuxia exited the office, intent on visiting the largest antique market in Shanghai to seek something unique. Upon leaving, she spotted Yi Fan standing at the entrance like a sentinel, and her expression darkened. Could you stop loitering here like a statue? Don't think that just because you're sent by my father, I can't do anything about it. You better behave yourself. She cast a disdainful glance at Yi Fan, perplexed by his audacity. Despite her scolding, he remained unfazed, following her closely. She was not one to typically berate others, yet his presence seemed to provoke her, leaving her exasperated. After her outburst, Han Chuxia strode gracefully towards the parking lot, while Yu Fan silently trailed behind. Upon reaching the parking area, he opened the passenger door for her. Han Chuxia shot him a sidelong glance as he calmly opened the backseat door, which she promptly entered. Since Yi Fan had been assigned by her father, her previous driver had been dismissed, leading to her daily commute with Yi Fan, a situation that irked her greatly. She had protested to her father without success, and although her grandfather had no influence over the affairs of the second company, she continued to express her frustration towards her father. Thankfully, her father's intentions of marrying her off to Yi Fan were promptly dismissed by her grandfather. "Where are we headed?" Yi Fan inquired, excitement evident in his voice, relishing the opportunity to share the same vehicle with Han Chuxia once again. "To the Shanghai International Antique Market," she replied, gazing out the window, lost in thought. The Shanghai International Antique Market is the largest of its kind in China, surpassing the famed Panjiayuan Market in Beijing. Over 4 decades of rapid development in Shanghai had birthed numerous industries, with the antique market being one of them. It attracts collectors from across the nation and even foreign enthusiasts, though one must tread cautiously. Authorities occasionally conduct surprise inspections, and if one is discovered with stolen artifacts, the consequences could be dire. Thus, many sellers often delay presenting their illicit finds. Upon arrival, the market appeared far more opulent than Panjiayuan, featuring both storefronts and roadside stalls, each offering the potential for hidden treasures. Despite the midday hour, the streets were bustling with traffic and throngs of people, all hoping to strike gold. Han Chuxia entered an antique shop named Wan Baocai, with Yu Fan closely following. The interior of Wan Baocai was adorned with exquisite furnishings, predominantly crafted from rosewood, imparting a sense of comfort. "May I assist you, esteemed guests?" A staff member approached Han Chuxia respectfully, recognizing her refined appearance, though he noted that her companion seemed somewhat out of place. "Do you have any items suitable for gifting to an elder for a birthday?" Han Chuxia inquired, surveying the shop filled with antiques, each accompanied by certification from antique associations. "Certainly. We have an array of calligraphy and tea sets that are traditionally favored by elders," the staff member assured her, guiding Han Chuxia through various selections, yet none seemed to satisfy her. Just then, Han Chuxia's gaze fell upon a painting that captivated her completely. It was a piece by Tang Yin, renowned for its vivid portrayal that seemed to breathe life into the scene depicted, evoking a profound sense of awe, as if one were present in the moment. She turned to the shop owner, who had been summoned by the staff, recognizing the significance of her presence. "How much for this painting?" The owner glanced at her, then responded, "Beautiful lady, this is a painting by Tang Yin, titled Viewing the Waterfall at Lushan. Its value is at least 10 billion. He spoke while discreetly assessing Han Chuxia's reaction. Han Chuxia contemplated the price. Tang Yin's works were not easily accessible in today's world. This painting had certification from the highest Chinese authorities, its lifelike quality undeniable. Just as she was about to make a purchase, Yi Fan interjected. "Do you dare to sell a forged painting for 10 billion? Forged painting?" Han Chuxia regarded Yi Fan in disbelief before turning to the owner. The latter exhibited a fleeting moment of discomfort, barely perceptible. "Sir, if you are not interested in purchasing, kindly refrain from making baseless accusations. This painting has been authenticated by the highest national institution and was purchased at a premium by our Wan Baocai. Are you attempting to disgrace me or the national institution?" Han Chuxia looked at Yi Fan, eager to hear his explanation. With an air of indifference, Yi Fan merely gestured dismissively. "While the item may indeed possess historical authenticity, any alleged flaws are of my own fabrication. Please, spare me your reprimands." Chapter 50. Can a masterpiece be considered authentic without the seal of Emperor Qianlong? There are 2 significant inconsistencies in this painting. The first lies in the area I am pointing to. How could a work by Tang Yin possibly lack the seal of Emperor Qianlong? An authentic piece should undoubtedly bear the emperor's mark at the location I indicate. The second flaw is that Tang Bohu would never sign his name as Tang Bohu. He would use his true name, Tang Yin. Such a blatant error, and yet you fail to comprehend it? Furthermore, the paper is not from the Ming dynasty. It appears to be from the later years of Qianlong's reign, indicating it is a mere imitation. Yi Fan expressed his thoughts with an air of indifference, laying bare all that he knew. The owner staggered back, quickly glancing at the spot Yi Fan was pointing to, clutching his chest. The shop assistant, witnessing this, hurriedly presented the owner with a heart-saving pill, allowing him to recover somewhat. Han Chuxia was quite astonished that Yu Fan could discern flaws that others overlooked with such capability. Why did he linger by her side? This perplexity troubled her. However, it made little difference to her, as she was merely inquiring about the price. Whether to purchase or not was a separate matter, yet it was a fortunate situation, as it saved her money. "Owner, this painting is a reasonably good imitation. If you wish to sell it, I can offer 200,000, but anything beyond that would not be worth it. You might want to consider," Yi Fan declared confidently, hands tucked into his pockets. At that moment, Gu Yechen entered the antique shop and spotted Han Chuxia, momentarily taken aback. "Miss Han, I didn't expect to encounter you here," Gu Yechen exclaimed, greeting her with surprise. Han Chuxia was equally astonished, Her impression of Gu Yechen was exceedingly favorable. In comparison to Yi Fan, he was in an entirely different league. She would rather marry someone like Gu Yechen than someone like Yi Fan. Mr. Gu, what a coincidence. Are you here to purchase something as well? Han Chuxia flashed a radiant smile and extended her hand to shake Gu Yechen's, a gesture of basic courtesy. Yi Fan, witnessing Han Chuxia's actions, glanced at Gu Yechen, his fist clenching in frustration. Han Chuxia was the woman he had chosen, and the fact that she shook hands with another man ignited his fury. Yet, out of respect for her presence, he suppressed his rage. Nevertheless, in his eyes, Gu Yechen's audacity to touch his woman was tantamount to courting death. Indeed, I heard that your grandfather will celebrate his birthday in 10 days. So I thought to select a gift for him. I never expected to run into you here. What a stroke of luck, Gu Yechen remarked, shaking Han Chuxia's hand and deliberately squeezing her delicate palm, attempting to gauge her reaction. Han Chuxia smiled, not displaying any aversion, and replied, your grandfather has mentioned you quite often lately. He will surely be delighted to see you. That indeed takes me by surprise. Gu Yechen felt a surge of delight at Han Chuxia's lack of repulsion towards his advances. He surveyed the antiques in the shop, noting that most were genuine, justifying its reputation as the largest antique store in the market. At that moment, Gu Yechen's gaze fell upon a painting, the same counterfeit that Han Chuxia had previously examined with Yi Fan. He approached it, scrutinizing the depiction of the Lushan waterfall, revealing its flaws under his discerning eye. Owner, how much for this painting? Gu Yechen inquired, pointing at the previously observed counterfeit. Yi Fan frowned and stepped forward. Sir, I was the first to express interest in this painting. Do you not understand the principle of first come, first served? Gu Yechen cast a skeptical glance at Yi Fan. And who might you be? Just because you claim it's yours, do you know if you've paid for it? Does this painting even bear your name? Yi Fan's expression darkened. While he had indeed expressed interest, he had not paid, nor was his name associated with the artwork. He turned to the owner. Owner, conducting business requires integrity. I was the one interested in this painting, so if it is to be sold, it should rightfully be offered to me first. Don't you think? The owner nodded, acknowledging Yi Fan's statement, but added, however, there's a point to consider. He glanced between Yi Fan and Gu Yechen. What point? Yi Fan was momentarily taken aback, as he believed his argument was sound. The point is, I never agreed to sell this painting to you. I understand the rules of the antique trade. A sale is only valid once the seller agrees to the buyer's terms. I never stated I would sell it to you for 200,000. In other words, even if I had intended to sell it, my silence does not constitute an agreement. Would you not concur with this reasoning? The owner, now feeling much better, stroked his beard while observing Yi Fan. Realization dawned on Yi Fan. Indeed, the owner had not agreed to his proposal, igniting a spark of anger within him. Since you desire it as well, let us compete for it right here, shall we? He challenged Gu Yechen. I was the one negotiating with the owner first. Why should I compete with you? Do you think I have nothing better to do? Or are you simply too dim-witted to understand this? Gu Yechen scoffed, casting a disparaging look at Yi Fan. Han Chuxia felt embarrassed by Yi Fan's behavior. Fortunately, Gu Yechen had not inquired about who Yi Fan was with. Chuxia, a person who resorts to insults from the onset is hardly a friend worth having, is he? Yi Fan restrained his anger, still considering Han Chuxia's feelings as he glanced at her. Han Chuxia wished she could kick Yi Fan for his foolishness. She had just thought herself fortunate that no one knew he had come with her, and then he went and revealed it. Before she could respond, Gu Yechen feigned surprise. Looking at Han Chuxia, he stepped closer, scrutinizing her, and then glancing back at Yi Fan, pointing at him. You know him? Doesn't he seem like someone you would associate with? Gu Yechen laughed, and his tone suggested that if he were not the main character, he would certainly be facing consequences. Mr. Gu, you are being excessive. You may insult me, but you cannot speak ill of Chuxia. I ask that you keep your distance from her. Yi Fan's fists clenched tightly, his gaze fixated on Gu Yechen, who had now made his blacklist. He would not permit Gu Yechen to approach Han Chuxia any further. She was his woman, destined to be his alone. Gu Yechen raised an eyebrow, surprised, and turned to Han Chuxia, who appeared displeased with Yi Fan's behavior. Miss Han, who is he to you? With remarks like that, one might think you share a special bond. Gu Yechen narrowed his eyes, amusement and curiosity mingling in his gaze as he looked at Yi Fan. Han Chuxia's expression darkened as she turned to Yi Fan. This man is merely a driver assigned by my family. I truly do not wish for him to be here, but my father insists on keeping him as my bodyguard. Gu Yechen cleared his throat and said, to this driver, I offer a piece of advice. As a driver and bodyguard, you should focus on your designated duties. Why meddle in everything? Those who do not know might assume you have a deeper connection with Miss Han. It would be in your best interest to maintain some distance, otherwise, your ignorance will only bring embarrassment to her, just as you have done now. Gu Yechen concluded with a series of mocking chuckles. Chapter 51. A windfall of 2 million. Yi Fan clenched his teeth, his face contorted with anger. How dare anyone speak to him like that when he was abroad? Such insolence would have led to their demise. Now, this Gu Yechen had the audacity to flirt with the woman he cherished, and even insult him, the Dragon King Yi Fan. This man was already a dead man walking, merely granted a few extra days of life. Han Shuxiao wore an expression of impatience. You should leave. Yi Fan shook his head, declaring, I laid claim to that painting first. I cannot simply concede it to him. If he has the guts, let us bid and see who offers more. Are you brave enough to compete with me? He fixed his gaze on Gu Yeqing, enunciating each word deliberately. Such words may work on others, but you are mistaken if you think I would engage in a contest with you. Am I so idle? Gu Yeqing's eyes glinted coldly. Yi Fan laughed mockingly. I thought you were a person of substance. Yet here you are, afraid to accept such a simple challenge. How disappointing. You are nothing but a coward. Gu Yeqing's expression darkened, a flicker of murderous intent flashing through his eyes. Yi Fan, who permitted you to speak to Mr. Gu in such a manner? Apologize at once. Han Shuxiao's anger flared. Yi Fan was her driver, and his words were a slap in her face. Shuxia. I spoke no falsehood. If he cannot even accept a simple challenge, what else could he be but a coward? Yi Fan continued. At that moment, a figure darted forward, delivering a sharp slap to Yi Fan's face. Before he could react, Gu Yeqing kicked him aside with a swift motion. With a physical prowess of 64 points, Gu Yeqing was unmatched by any ordinary individual. With his hands in his pockets, he remarked, Boss, let us discuss business later. First, I must deal with this insect. Save that painting for me. With that, he strode away. Yi Fan was no ordinary man. Yet caught off guard by Gu Yeqing's 2 strikes, he coughed up blood. Struggling to remain upright, Han Shuxia hurried after him, fearing for Gu Yeqing's safety, but what she witnessed left her dumbfounded. Yi Fan lay on the ground, while Gu Yeqing squatted before him. She knew Yi Fan's strength, yet he had been so effortlessly subdued. Your tongue is quite foul. I expected more strength from you. Yet you are nothing special. Gu Yeqing teased. Yi Fan spat out another mouthful of blood, feeling as though he had been struck by a heavy hammer. He had never faced defeat until now, and being so easily overpowered was shocking. Attacking someone unawares hardly makes you a hero. Have the courage to face me openly. You sneaky rat. After speaking, a trickle of blood dripped from his mouth, indicating his severe injuries. Gu Yeqing had used considerable strength. The fact that Yi Fan was not completely incapacitated attested to his own abilities, yet he paled in comparison to Gu Yeqing. Are you truly unaware of your situation? You were kicked down by me. You couldn't even react to my movements. What do you think you can use to fight back? I genuinely question your mental state. Gu Yeqing sighed in exasperation, bemused by the arrogance of those who assumed they were in control, as if they could dictate the terms of engagement. Grabbing Yi Fan by the hair, Gu Yeqing delivered several slaps to instill some sense into him. Smack, smack, smack. The sound of Gu Yeqing's strikes echoed as they landed on Yi Fan's face, sending him crashing back to the ground. Han Shuxia approached, glancing at Yi Fan before turning her concern to Gu Yeqing. Are your hands all right? Gu Yeqing paused, then inwardly laughed at Yi Fan's predicament. You pitiful sycophant. He gently ruffled Han Shuxiao's hair and said, with you watching over me, of course, I'm fine. Without you, I might have been overwhelmed by this fool. Thank you, Shuxia. Han Shuxiao's face flushed, but she said nothing. Gu Yeqing then re-entered the Wanbao Academy, leaving Yi Fan in a state of turmoil. Yi Fan's eyes burned with fury as he watched Han Shuxia follow Gu Yeqing inside. Seeing Gu Yeqing touch her head sent him spiraling into madness. As he fell, he muttered, dare to covet the woman chosen by the Dragon King? You are finished. A few of Han Shuxiao's bodyguards quickly apprehended him. She was rarely without their protection. Boss, sorry to keep you waiting. Gu Yeqing greeted the owner of the establishment with a respectful gesture, adhering to customary etiquette. The owner, taken aback, reciprocated the gesture, albeit with a slightly elevated position, as his status in the industry surpassed Gu Yeqing's. I have a personal fondness for this painting. Although it is a copy and has its flaws, it is a replica from the Qing dynasty, and there are currently no other depictions of the Lushan waterfall in circulation. Thus, this one serves to broaden my horizons. I am prepared to offer you this amount. Gu Yeqing extended 2 fingers. 200,000? The owner queried, pained. No. It's 2 million. I cannot go any higher, as the true value of this painting does not exceed 500,000. I genuinely like it. Hence the additional 150,000. Beyond that, I would surely withdraw my offer. Gu Yeqing spoke earnestly, his gaze unwavering. Han Shuxiao was perplexed. Why would you purchase a replica if you know it's fake? Gu Yeqing smiled. Though the painting is a forgery, the artist has done an admirable job of replicating it. While it is obvious that it is a copy, it still makes for a delightful personal collection. Very well, Mr. Gu. 2 million it is. The owner lamented. Having purchased the painting for 100 million, only to suffer a significant loss upon its resale. Gu Yeqing smiled slightly, saying, excellent. Please prepare a tube for me. After finalizing the transaction, Gu Yeqing completed the payment, and the painting was now his. Thank you, boss. Wishing you prosperous business and abundant wealth. Gu Yeqing beamed, his heart racing with excitement at this serendipitous acquisition. What would you like to buy? Gu Yeqing inquired of Han Shuxia. She shrugged, replying, I haven't made up my mind yet. Shall I assist you in selecting something? Gu Yeqing gazed at her, a gentle warmth in his eyes. Han Chuxia, almost unconsciously, nodded in agreement, as though Gu Yeqing possessed some enchanting allure. Chapter 52. The Millennium Ancient Tea Tree. Congratulations to the host for triggering a hidden reward and obtaining a Millennium Ancient Tea Tree, exuding a fragrant aroma. Just a single tea leaf can be brewed 6 times without losing its flavor. It can be placed in a designated location at any time and retrieved back into the system space whenever desired. The system's voice rang out, momentarily startling Gu Yeqing. A Millennium Ancient Tea Tree. What is that? It appears delightful. I wonder what the old man likes. Gu Yeqing glanced at Han Chuxia and gently inquired, his tone soft and his gaze affectionate. After a moment of dazed silence, Han Chuxia realized she had been entranced. What did you just say? Gu Yeqing smiled lightly and asked, what does your grandfather enjoy? My grandfather, apart from engaging in scientific research, enjoys admiring antiques and calligraphy, sipping tea, and has no other particular hobbies. Han Chuxia replied with a helpless expression, acknowledging that her predicament compelled her to search for antiques. Could this Millennium Ancient Tea Tree be intended for the old man? The timing is uncanny, given that he loves tea. Gu Yeqing fell into contemplation. I happen to have a tea tree that I cultivate myself. I can pick a few leaves for your grandfather to try. A few leaves? Han Chuxia was taken aback. Although she did not drink tea, she had heard that a few leaves could hardly suffice. Boss, is that tea set on your table for sale? Gu Yeqing suddenly shifted the topic, looking toward the proprietor. The owner was momentarily stunned, glancing at his tea set. Could this also be a treasure? It shouldn't be. It's merely an ordinary tea set. Young friend, may I ask why you wish to purchase the set I am currently using? What makes it different? The proprietor inquired tentatively, clearly underestimating Gu Yeqing. Nothing in particular. It simply catches my eye. When I shop, I primarily consider whether I like it. The item's value is of little concern. If I fancy something, I'll buy it. If it doesn't appeal to me, even if it's placed before me, I wouldn't take it. Gu Yeqing replied with a serene smile. The proprietor nodded. Having already deduced Gu Yeqing's discerning taste from the earlier incident involving the faux painting, the tea set had cost him 100,000, seeing its decent condition. He had kept it for personal use. If he could sell it for 2 million, that would be splendid. Han Chuxia, confused, leaned closer to Gu Yeqing and whispered, why do you want to buy this tea set? It looks rather ordinary. This is a tea set specifically used by Emperor Qianlong, but there should be 6 cups. Here. There are only 5. With the assistance of his enhanced vision, Gu Yeqing had all the data right before him. Han Chuxia feigned calmness, but inside she was frantically panicking, realizing she had overlooked such a valuable item. Boss, if I'm not mistaken, this tea set should come with 6 cups. Why is there only 5? It indeed was 6, but I used one to drink wine. It's upstairs. The owner replied, giving a knowing glance to a staff member, who promptly went to retrieve it. It's definitely from the same batch. So, are you selling it or not? The boss pondered for a moment before extending 2 fingers. 2 million for the complete set. How about that? Are you taking me for a fool? 50,000, and I want to pay a cent more. I might have money, but I want to be swindled. Gu Yeqing feigned indignation. Fine, 50,000 it is. The proprietor's heart was elated. He was turning a profit of 40,000 with a simple flip. Pack it up. Gu Yeqing gestured for Han Chuxia to proceed with the transaction. Once she regained her composure, she transferred the funds without hesitation. The owner wore a beaming smile, and Gu Yeqing mirrored his joy. He turned to the proprietor and said, thank you, boss. I truly appreciate these 2 items. The owner was unaware of the truth behind the transaction, but Gu Yeqing was genuinely delighted. While he was affluent, discovering a bargain was an exhilarating experience. Let us depart. Gu Yeqing looked at Han Chuxia, who nodded in agreement. As they walked toward the parking lot, Gu Yeqing asked, did you drive here? Han Chuxia nodded. Her vehicle was a sleek black Maserati, chosen for its formidable presence. The two headed in the same direction, and upon arrival, Gu Yeqing was surprised to find their cars parked side by side. What a coincidence. He circled around Han Chuxia's car and remarked, nice car. It looks quite imposing. Han Chuxia merely smiled. What about your car? Don't tell me you didn't drive here. Gu Yeqing produced his car key and pressed it, causing the Bugatti Chiron beside Han Chuxia to flicker its lights. Han Chuxia's jaw dropped in astonishment. She never expected Gu Yeqing to own a globally limited edition Bugatti Chiron. Is this yours? She managed to ask, swallowing hard. Gu Yeqing nodded. Would you like to give it a try? Although Han Chuxia was wealthy, she had only seen a Bugatti Chiron on television and the internet. She had never encountered one in reality. Is that all right? She asked, her heart fluttering with excitement. Of course. But what will happen to your car? Gu Yeqing inquired, his expression turning slightly troubled. Han Chuxia rolled her eyes at his concern. Given that she could drive a Bugatti Chiron, why would she fret over a Maserati? She gestured, and a bodyguard promptly appeared at her side. Take the car back to the company. Yes, ma'am, and you? The male bodyguard asked immediately, knowing that protecting Han Chuxia was their utmost priority. Han Chuxia pointed at Gu Yeqing's car. I'll be driving this one. If necessary, you can follow me. The bodyguard, glancing at the Bugatti Chiron, was visibly flustered. Gu Yeqing slid into the passenger seat, placing the tea set and painting inside. Han Chuxia opened the door. her eyes gleaming with uncontainable joy as she observed the interior of the Bugatti Chiron. Smiling subtly, it seemed to suit her taste perfectly. As she gently pressed the accelerator, the car began to roll forward. Her heart raced with exhilaration. She was no longer the aloof ice queen, but rather resembled an excited young girl. It's getting late. Let us find a place to eat, Gu Yechen remarked, gazing out the window. Han Chuxiao nodded in agreement. Orphanage Qinlan was busy cooking when a group of individuals burst into the orphanage, wreaking havoc and smashing everything in sight. Among them were bodyguards from the Jiang family, who indiscriminately demolished the orphanage. In a bid to protect the children, Qinlan and Li Guosheng were beaten. Li Guosheng, being in better health, sustained lighter injuries. While Qinlan suffered significantly, she was struck on the head and injured her right leg, bearing various wounds. Li Guosheng hastily called Gu Yechen. At that moment, Chapter 53, the orphanage incident. At this moment, Gu Yechen was dining with Han Chuxiao when his phone suddenly rang. Glancing at the screen, he saw it was a call from Li Guosheng, and without hesitation, he answered. Hello, Uncle Li. What is the matter? Gu Yechen inquired with a hint of confusion. Yechen, there has been an incident at the orphanage. Someone has stormed in and forcibly demolished the entire perimeter, and they vandalized the orphanage itself. Director Qin has been injured, suffering a concussion and a broken leg, and several children are terrified, Li Guosheng hurriedly explained. Upon hearing this, Gu Yechen slammed his hand on the table, his expression darkening, and a glint of murderous intent ignited in his eyes, reminiscent of an approaching storm. What's wrong? Han Chuxiao, noticing the change in him, was momentarily taken aback. She could sense the gravity of the situation but had not anticipated it to be this severe. The orphanage has been destroyed, its outer walls completely demolished. Gu Yechen spoke in a calm yet icy tone. This was the place where he had grown up, and he could not tolerate such senseless destruction. Hello, Uncle. Have you acted on what I told you? Han Chuxiao immediately took out her phone and dialed her uncle's number. Her uncle, Han Zhong, was the mayor of Shanghai City, a position of considerable influence. If Gu Yechen were to find out, he would likely be bemused, as she had mentioned seeking help from a minor official. Oh, you mean the orphanage? I notified them immediately. The government has no documents authorizing the demolition of Xinguang Orphanage. Han Zhong replied with a smile. Xia, what is the issue? Is there a problem? Then why was Xinguang Orphanage still torn down? And why were people assaulted? Han Chuxia questioned her uncle, not out of disbelief, but to understand who was behind this. Upon hearing her words, Han Zhong's expression turned grave. I understand, he said softly before hanging up. Secretary Li, prepare the car for Xinguang Orphanage. He was determined to uncover who dared to affront him in such a manner, bringing disgrace to government institutions. Gu Yechen drove towards the orphanage, while Han Chuxia, seated beside him, felt a mix of anger and guilt for not being able to prevent the incident despite her efforts to seek help. Yechen, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. Han Chuxia apologized. Gu Yechen paused, then grasped her left hand with his right. Chuxia, this is not your fault. It has nothing to do with you. Thus, they held hands tightly. Normally, Han Chuxia would never allow a boy to hold her hand, let alone touch her. Yet, in this moment, she inexplicably did not reject Gu Yechen's closeness, and perhaps even felt a sense of joy. Upon reaching the orphanage, Gu Yechen parked and was met with the sight of ruins. The main structure of the orphanage remained, but the perimeter had been entirely razed, and more individuals were attempting to continue the demolition. A surge of fury ignited within Gu Yechen. He released Han Chuxiao's hand and swiftly approached the man operating the excavator. Without hesitation, he leaped onto the machine, yanked the operator off, and stomped his foot onto the man's abdomen, causing blood to spill forth. Who ordered you to do this? Gu Yechen's voice was cold, chilling as the depths of winter. We are acting under the government's orders. You are obstructing official work. The man shouted angrily, pointing at Gu Yechen. Fury boiled within Gu Yechen. How dare you? He swiftly broke the man's finger and unleashed a flurry of punches, landing over a dozen strikes. Han Chuxia, frightened, quickly intervened, pulling him away. Yechen, there is no need to get into trouble over this scoundrel. You have more important matters to attend to. However, Gu Yechen paid no heed. He proceeded to deal with everyone present before heading to the surveillance room. Upon viewing the footage, he recognized the bodyguards of the Jiang family and understood everything. His demeanor grew increasingly menacing, instilling fear even in Han Chuxia. Jiang Feng, since you wish to play, I shall indulge you and see how long your Jiang group can endure. Sister, I apologize. I hope you won't hold this against me. Gu Yechen muttered, his words resonating like thunder in Han Chuxia's ears. Is this the work of the Jiang family? She asked incredulously, realizing the implications. Rumors circulated in high society that the Jiang family's son had severed ties with them. Could it be that you are Jiang Nan? I am Gu Yechen. Not Jiang Nan, he replied, glaring at the wreckage before him in fury. Just then, an unwelcome voice interrupted. Unfilial son, I didn't expect to find you here. Jiang Feng appeared before the orphanage, having come to inspect the damage, and was surprised to encounter Gu Yechen. His company had recently experienced an upturn, and he was increasingly infuriated, leading him to demolish the orphanage. Stay inside the house, Gu Yechen instructed as he gently patted Han Chuxiao's head. This was your doing. Wasn't it? Gu Yechen confronted Jiang Feng, standing face-to-face with him. Being taller, Jiang Feng had to look up at a 45-degree angle, awkwardly stepping back to align their gazes. Under Gu Yechen's frosty stare, Jiang Feng instinctively swallowed hard, momentarily taken aback despite his usual composure. Didn't he want to leave the Jiang family? I merely employed a few tactics to have you return to us begging, Jiang Feng asserted, his tone dismissive. You had people attack my orphanage? Gu Yechen's eyes burned with rising anger. How else could I bring you back? Jiang Feng replied, his words leaving no room for debate. If you return and plead with us, you can regain your position as the Jiang family's young master, and even have the orphanage rebuilt. But if you refuse, tomorrow the orphanage may face complete demolition. His threat was blatant. Gu Yechen's rage surged, prompting him to move. Several bodyguards quickly shielded Jiang Feng behind them. As the murderous intent flared in Gu Yechen's eyes, one bodyguard lunged at him, resulting in a fistfight that left the bodyguard with a broken arm. Staggering back and collapsing, Gu Yechen then delivered a kick to the chest of another, rendering him unconscious. He turned his attention back to Jiang Feng, who now appeared fearful and shaken. What do you intend to do? You ungrateful wretch. Do you wish to murder your father? Chapter 54. Seeking to confront Jiang Feng, Gu Yechen approached step by step, while Jiang Feng retreated, shielded by his bodyguards. The bodyguards wore expressions of terror, for the strongest among them had just been taken down effortlessly, leaving them shaken. Gu Yechen regarded the 5 bodyguards before him with a calm demeanor, a hint of a smile gracing his lips as he said, You 5, depart. I bear no ill will towards you. The bodyguards exchanged glances. They wished to flee. Yet their employer remained present. Jiang Feng, intimidated by Gu Yechen's smile, felt as if he were facing a cunning predator. I'll offer each of you an additional 10,000 if you swiftly incapacitate him. Perhaps my age is catching up to me, Jiang Feng admitted, a tremor of fear evident in his voice. Upon hearing of the monthly bonus, the bodyguards were invigorated. For them, it was a substantial sum. If you do not leave now, you will all end up in the hospital. Gu Yechen's expression darkened instantly, his malevolence palpable. The bodyguards rushed forward, attempting to subdue him swiftly. Gu Yechen's martial prowess, coupled with his remarkable physique, was no idle boast. As the bodyguards encircled him, he smirked coldly at Jiang Feng, declaring, You shall regret all your actions. With that, he lunged forward, sending one bodyguard flying with a powerful kick. Blood spilling from the man's mouth as he crumpled to the ground, likely with 3 ribs fractured. Everyone attack! Jiang Feng shouted, though fear lingered in his voice. Nevertheless, the bodyguards charged at Gu Yechen, only to find themselves swiftly dispatched and unconscious on the floor. Gu Yechen dusted off his hands and approached Jiang Feng. I once stated that I would no longer seek you out, nor should you seek me. You truly are a fool. He delivered a powerful punch to Jiang Feng's chest, followed by a kick, the force of which left Jiang Feng bloodied and likely with 5 or 6 broken ribs. You insolent wretch, how dare you strike me? Jiang Feng stammered, his voice weak and broken, a testament to his injuries. What is there to fear? You are no one to me, Gu Yechen replied, reluctant to dirty his hands, yet resolute in dealing with the Jiang Corporation. I will not rest until you are ruined. You best safeguard your corporation. Should you dare harm the orphanage, I shall find a way to bring you to bankruptcy. Gu Yechen retrieved his phone and dialed Suhu using a previous virtual number. At that moment, Suhu was enjoying drinks with his companions. Upon seeing Gu Yechen's name, he instantly sobered. Hello, Boss Gu. What can I do for you? Suhu spoke with palpable excitement, viewing Gu Yechen as his benefactor. Suhu, I require your assistance with a matter. Do you possess the courage for it? Gu Yechen's gaze remained fixed on the retreating figure of Jiang Feng, his mind racing with thoughts. Brother Gu, you needn't worry. As long as the payment is sufficient, I am at your service. What do you need? Suhu chuckled, eagerly anticipating the prospect of lucrative work. I need you to incapacitate someone, break all of his limbs. 1 million will be your reward upon completion. Are you willing to accept? With a resounding thud, Suhu dropped his phone in shock, hastily retrieving it. Of course. I accept. Who is the target? The chairman of the Jiang Corporation, Jiang Feng. Just ensure you break all his limbs and send me a video. And the million is yours. Do you have the guts? Gu Yechen's expression remained impassive. Suhu trembled upon hearing the name. Recalling that Gu Yechen was indeed Jiang Feng's son, this was no mere jest, it was a twisted familial drama. Well, Brother Gu, I cannot make such a decision unilaterally. I must consult with my superior first, he stammered, genuinely apprehensive. After all, they were speaking of the chairman of one of the top 20 companies in Shanghai City. Very well, I grant you 5 minutes. If no decision is made by then, consider it as if I never spoke. With that, Gu Yechen hung up, his demeanor shifting from menacing to that of a charming rogue, embodying a carefree spirit, unrestrained by the constraints of society. Suhu wiped his brow as he ended the call, his companions bewildered. What's wrong, Tiger? You seem off. It's nothing. I received a call regarding a task that promises 1 million upon completion. 1 million? We can't even fathom that. His companions were agog, awaiting Suhu's lead. Suhu quickly dialed Wang Long. At that moment, Wang Long was sipping tea in his office when his phone rang. He glanced at it, his brow furrowing with an inexplicable sense of foreboding. Ahu, what brings you to call? Dragon brother, someone approached me with a job that pays $1 million. I wanted to ask if you'd approve of it, Suhu replied, a tremor of anxiety in his voice, fearing Wang Long's disapproval would scuttle the opportunity. Oh, $1 million? What task warrants such compensation? Wang Long inquired, intrigued, as $1 million was a handsome sum, even for him. A gentleman named Gu requested that I break all of Jiang Feng's limbs. I believe Jiang Feng is not an ordinary individual, so I wanted to know if you would endorse this business. Wang Long nearly choked on his tea, realizing the implications of the request. He truly is a filial son. He exclaimed, having initially suspected the caller was Gu Yechen. The idea that Gu Yechen would want to harm his own father was beyond comprehension. Exercise caution. Ensure no one discovers this, Wang Long cautioned, his mind racing. Gu Yechen was not someone to be trifled with. He could only be a close ally, never an enemy. The fact that he would strike at his own father and offer $1 million as a reward was unprecedented. Rest assured, I will handle it. Suhu responded enthusiastically. As Wang Long hung up, he was lost in thought, pondering the true nature of Gu Yechen. Upon receiving confirmation, Suhu immediately called Gu Yechen back, promptly setting out to locate Jiang Feng as per Gu Yechen's directives. Han Chuxia emerged from her room, glancing at Gu Yechen, her heart inexplicably heavy. Outside, several vehicles entered the orphanage, and a group of individuals disembarked. At the forefront was a middle-aged man, exuding an extraordinary presence, who approached Gu Yechen and Han Chuxia. Nodding at Gu Yechen, he remarked, "No wonder Xia girl is so anxious. He is indeed a remarkable individual." Han Zhang turned to Han Chuxia, teasing, "I wondered why you were in such a hurry. It turns out you have a suitor. You should have introduced him to us sooner. Uncle, if you continue like this, I shall ignore you." Han Chuxia flushed, embarrassed. "Oh my, our Xia girl has turned red. This is truly the biggest news in the Han family. I must document this." Han Zhong laughed heartily. "Uncle, this is Gu Yechen." Han Zhong furrowed his brow, scrutinizing Gu Yechen. "Is he the young man who saved the old master?" Han Chuxia nodded and introduced, "Mr. Gu, this is my uncle, the minor official I mentioned to you." "Girl, calling a mayor a minor official might not be quite appropriate." Han Zhong was somewhat taken aback, not expecting to be referred to as a mere minor official by his own niece, despite being the esteemed mayor of Shanghai City. Chapter 55. The medical dispute. Upon hearing the word mayor, Gu Yechen was momentarily taken aback. Did he mishear? Surely it couldn't be. Before him stood the second-in-command of Shanghai City. "Young man, I am Han Zhong. This is my niece. I must thank you for saving my elderly relative." Han Zhong extended his hand toward Gu Yechen. Gu Yechen reciprocated, saying, "There is no need for formalities, Mayor Han. It was merely a fortunate encounter. Others would have done the same. Do visit me at Shui Weixin for a meal. It's my treat." Han Zhong's brow furrowed slightly as he regarded Gu Yechen with surprise. He discerned something unusual in Gu Yechen's words. "Young Gu, I have heard that Shui Weixin has a new owner. Might you have a connection?" Han Zhong scrutinized Gu Yechen's eyes, seeking clues, only to be met with a straightforward admission. "To be candid, I am indeed the new proprietor of Shui Weixin," Gu Yechen replied nonchalantly, revealing no hint of concealment. After all, he was addressing a deputy mayor. It would be foolish to hide such an affiliation. While Han Zhong was taken aback, he was not overly surprised, having already gleaned much from Gu Yechen's tone. In contrast, Han Chuxia was utterly astonished. Shui Weixin was the largest and most esteemed hotel in all of Shanghai City. Standing close beside Gu Yechen, Han Chuxia gazed up at him, incredulous. "You truly own Shui Weixin? You seem far too young for such a responsibility." In a playful gesture, Gu Yechen ruffled Han Chuxia's hair, asserting, "This merely shows my accomplishments. Few at 18 can claim ownership of a prestigious international hotel." Startled by his sudden action, Han Chuxia blushed, but did not shy away. "You're quite impressive," she teased. Han Zhong observed their interaction with a nod, perhaps reassured about his niece's suitor, though he might have misjudged the situation. "By the way, uncle, what brings you here?" Han Chuxia inquired, puzzled. "I received an urgent call about a situation that required my attention. Could I ignore it?" Han Zhong replied with a smile. "And what is the current situation?" he asked, shifting the conversation. "The orphanage's perimeter has been demolished, the director has suffered a concussion, and his leg is fractured. The children are understandably frightened. And I suspect the involvement of government personnel," Gu Yechen disclosed without reservation, confident in his status as the savior of Han Lei Azizi. "It's obvious there are corrupt individuals involved, likely motivated by financial gain. Even I and the city's secretary were unaware of this matter. An investigation is imperative," Han Zhong asserted with a serious demeanor. "Do you know who is orchestrating this?" he inquired, looking intently at Gu Yechen, who pondered for a moment before responding. "I prefer to handle the matter myself." Han Zhong nodded, his tone earnest. "Very well. If you need assistance, you can reach out to Chuxia, or she can contact me. Just be cautious and don't cause her undue worry." Embarrassed by her uncle's concern, Han Chuxia turned to Gu Yechen, her cheeks flushed. Don't take my uncle's antics too seriously. He knows nothing. Would you like me to escort you home, or? Han Zhong asked Han Chuxia. No need, uncle. You should head back. I'll manage on my own later. She replied with a shy smile. Gu Yechen chuckled inwardly at Han Chuxia's demeanor, thinking to himself that he could never allow her to return alone. It would render his Bugatti Veyron a mere joke. All right, I shall attend to my matters. Young Gu, please take good care of my dear niece. Do not mistreat her, Han Zhong warned, looking pointedly at Gu Yechen. I understand, Uncle Han, Gu Yechen acknowledged. Seizing the opportunity to call him uncle, Han Zhong, somewhat surprised yet amused, laughed heartily as he departed, feeling reassured about his niece's suitor. Gu Yechen and Han Chuxiao escorted Han Zhong out of the orphanage before driving to the hospital. Throughout the journey, Han Chuxiao chatted and laughed, attempting to lift Gu Yechen's spirits. He gazed at her gently, their hands intertwined like a young couple in love. What is happening to me? I'm holding his hand continuously. How embarrassing. Han Chuxia's mind raced with thoughts. She had never experienced such feelings before. But being with Gu Yechen brought her immense joy. Was she unwell? Upon arriving at the hospital, Gu Yechen purchased a basket of fruits to visit Qinlan. Han Chuxia chose to remain in the hospital lobby, despite his invitation to join him. Qinma, Gu Yechen called out. Li Guixing and Qinlan turned to the entrance, where Gu Yechen stood with a cheerful smile and a basket of fruits, reminiscent of his childhood visits. Seeing Gu Yechen, Qinlan's expression softened, and she smiled. Xiaochun, you're here. How's the situation at the orphanage? It's all under control. Please rest assured, we will rebuild the orphanage soon. Gu Yechen assured her with a smile. He peeled an apple and handed it to Qinlan, noticing her distracted demeanor. Director, once you recover, the orphanage will be rebuilt. You can play with the children again. Focus on your recovery for now. Just then, Gu Yechen's phone chimed, an incoming call from Han Chuxia, but before he could answer, it was abruptly disconnected. Furrowing his brow, an ominous feeling settled in his chest. Director Qin, please rest. I must take my leave. I will visit again when I can. Gu Yechen felt an unsettling anxiety. Exiting the ward, he attempted to call Han Chuxia, but the line rang without answer. Suddenly, chaos erupted in the hospital lobby. A man was brandishing a knife, threatening a woman he had seized. Stay calm. Put down the knife. We can discuss this matter. The girl you have is innocent. You cannot treat her this way. A security guard urged from a safe distance of 5 meters, as someone had already called the police. The agitated man shouted, Don't come any closer. If you do, I want to hold back. Back away. At that moment, a police officer arrived on the scene. Brother, you don't seem like a bad person. Is there something troubling you? We can negotiate. If you harm the girl, it will lead to a charge of intentional homicide. Think of your family, your parents, wife, and children. They still need you. If you choose death, it's you who escapes, but your family will bear the burden for life. Do you truly wish to place that on them? I can't consider that now. The man shouted, growing increasingly agitated, his knife swinging wildly. Chapter 56. The deeply touched Han Chuxia let us discuss this matter calmly. First, please lower the knife. The police officer implored, observing the unfolding situation with earnest concern. At that moment, the phone of the hostage rang, further agitating the family of the patient. Please remain calm. It is just a call from a friend, Han Chuxia assured, suppressing her discomfort as she addressed the family member who held her captive. It was Han Chuxia who had been taken hostage. Moments ago, she had been at the hospital tending to patients and their families, reflecting on her experiences, when suddenly, someone from behind seized her by the neck and pressed a knife against her throat, plunging her into a state of shock and emptiness. Gu Yechen had just exited the ward when he heard the commotion. He glanced down, and his pupils widened in alarm. Without hesitation, he dashed down the stairs, racing from the 6th floor to the ground level. His chest heaved, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. Only upon seeing that Han Chuxia was unharmed did he manage to steady his racing heart. Tears streamed down Han Chuxia's face as she witnessed Gu Yechen rush towards her without regard for his safety. He composed himself and turned his gaze towards the assailant, a man in his 40s with a scruffy beard and eyes filled with terror. Sir, what is your name? Gu Yechen's voice trembled slightly. She is my friend. Let us talk this through. Please lower the knife. I will do everything in my power to help. Can you promise not to harm her? The distance between them was too great, and Gu Yechen could not guarantee a swift rescue without endangering Han Chuxia's life. His only option was to pacify the man's emotions to prevent any rash actions that might jeopardize her safety. My son is ill. I need money. 2 million. Just give me the money, and I will do anything. The man's anxious demeanor was palpable as he looked at Gu Yechen. That is simple enough. Provide me with your bank account number, and I will transfer the funds. After that, please release her. How does that sound? Gu Yechen felt a wave of relief as he realized the man only sought money. After all, he was quite affluent. The man recited his account number, and Gu Yechen promptly transferred 2 million, displaying the transaction record to him. I have sent you the money. Will you now release my friend? Han Chuxia felt an inexplicable surge of emotion as she witnessed Gu Yechen so boldly confront a knife-wielding man on her behalf. His words, claiming her as his, planted a seed of hope within her heart. As the man finally relinquished his grip on Han Chuxia, Gu Yechen swiftly embraced her, stepping back a few paces. Han Chuxia trembled slightly, finding solace in his embrace. The assailant then knelt before them, expressing gratitude and remorse. "Thank you, and I am truly sorry." He bowed deeply 3 times before the police intervened to apprehend him. "Can you allow me to pay for my child's surgery first?" he implored one of the officers, who glanced at Gu Yechen and Han Chuxia, aware that the funds belonged to them. A glint of anger flashed in Gu Yechen's eyes as he approached the man and delivered a forceful kick to his chest, eliciting a pained grunt and a spurt of blood. The police immediately restrained Gu Yechen, admonishing him, "This is unlawful behavior." Gu Yechen shot an incredulous look at the officer, his ire barely contained. "Are you suggesting that his actions with a knife in a public space are not illegal?" Well, the officer hesitated. "Since the hostage has not been harmed, his criminal act is considered to have ceased, and you cannot retaliate. Is he your father or something? How can you defend a criminal? What do you mean by the hostage has not been harmed? Are you implying we should wait until someone is injured to address this nonsense?" Gu Yechen pointed an accusatory finger at the officer, his frustration boiling over. "I truly cannot fathom how you managed to don that uniform." At that moment, several police officers rushed in, surprised to find the situation had resolved itself just as they arrived. One officer, dressed in uniform, paused, then saluted, "Comrade, which precinct are you from?" The assailant's demeanor shifted to one of nervousness upon seeing the police, prompting him to turn and flee. However, he was swiftly apprehended, along with the knife wielder. "Is everyone all right?" One officer approached Gu Yechen and Han Chuxia. Gu Yechen continued to hold Han Chuxia in his arms, and she appeared to be recovering. Her head rested against his chest, and as she noticed the approaching officer, a faint blush graced her cheeks, enhancing her beauty. "She is fine. My friend was merely startled," Gu Yechen replied to the officer. He nodded, stating, "We are already aware of the situation. Please accompany us to the station for a statement." Gu Yechen tenderly stroked Han Chuxia's hair, the faint fragrance enveloping him in comfort. Han Chuxia lifted her head from his chest, and Gu Yechen nearly lost his composure. Despite the various personas he assumed, be it the aloof CO or the charming gentleman, she appeared simply as a relatable neighbor. "Shall we visit the police station to provide a statement?" Gu Yechen suggested, his gaze filled with affection, his voice soft and soothing, causing Han Chuxia to feel a flutter of emotions. Yet, when he referred to her merely as a friend, a tinge of disappointment washed over her. "I will follow your lead," she replied. Her cheeks flushed as she buried her face into his chest once more. Gu Yechen's heart ached. They had only just met, yet he felt an undeniable connection. After obtaining the address, Gu Yechen nodded to the officers, lifting Han Chuxia into his arms as they made their way to the parking lot. Han Chuxia settled into the passenger seat, while Gu Yechen took the wheel. As he gazed at her rosy cheeks, an impulse overtook him. He leaned forward and pressed a gentle kiss on her forehead. Han Chuxia froze, fully aware of his lips on her skin, yet surprisingly, she found herself not resisting. Seeing her lack of objection, Gu Yechen gradually closed the distance, their lips meeting. Han Chuxia was taken aback, her heart racing. "My first kiss, just like that. Should I reject him? But what if he grows to dislike me later? Perhaps I should let him have this moment?" Unbeknownst to Gu Yechen, Han Chuxia's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. He was simply relieved that she did not recoil, believing that the progression of their relationship would unfold naturally. After parting from her lips, Gu Yechen caressed her cheek and said, "Shall we be on our way?" Han Chuxia, her face flushed, merely nodded, at a loss for words. If Yufan had been present, he would likely have been infuriated, witnessing the woman he cherished surrendering her first kiss, potentially leading to even more intimate moments in the future. Chapter 57. Supreme hacking skills. As the system's voice suddenly reverberated in his mind, Gu Yechen was taken aback. "Congratulations, host. You have triggered a hidden reward. Successfully rescued Han Chuxia. Reward, Supreme hacking skills." He took a moment to regain his composure before continuing to drive. It was evident what the Supreme hacking skills entailed. Was the system suggesting he employ these skills against the Jiang group? Progressing at a leisurely pace would certainly take time. But with the Supreme hacking skills, he could obliterate them in an instant. A slight smile graced Gu Yechen's lips while Han Chuxia, seated beside him, stole a glance at his profile, her heart racing uncontrollably. Meanwhile, Yufan had just exited the hospital. Initially, his injuries appeared severe, but that was merely a momentary reaction. By the time he left, he was largely unscathed, possibly due to his robust physique. He pulled out his phone, intending to call Han Chuxia, but upon viewing a video, he exploded with rage. In the footage, Han Chuxia was in Gu Yechen's embrace, seemingly relishing the moment, igniting a murderous intent in Yifan's eyes. In his perspective, Han Chuxia was his woman, and no one else was permitted to touch her. "Hey Chuxia, where are you?" Yifan's tone was frantic. He feared Gu Yechen might harm her. Although he was not particularly concerned about the relationship, he dreaded the thought of Han Chuxia being hurt. At that moment, Han Chuxia, seated in the passenger seat beside Gu Yechen, retorted coldly, "What does my location have to do with you?" Just focus on your own affairs. My mission is to ensure your safety. Why were you in the hospital? And why was that man named Gu holding you? What is your relationship with him? Don't forget that my uncle intends to betroth you to me. How can you act this way? Yi Fan's agitation intensified, momentarily forgetting his position. His loud voice caught Gu Yechen's attention, and a faint smile appeared on his lips. Observing Gu Yechen's expression, Han Chuxia frowned, mentally berating Yi Fan 1,000 times over. She felt the need to clarify, Mr. Yi Fan, I have no connection with you whatsoever. You are merely my father's bodyguard. While you did save my father, I am not him. I have my own thoughts in life. Not everyone can be dictated to. As for my father promising me to you, did you ever obtain my consent? I have never acknowledged this arrangement, nor will I in the future. If you desire, feel free to marry my father. I have no objections. With that, she hung up, her expression stormy, unmistakably indicating that she was not to be trifled with. Gu Yechen subtly took hold of Han Chuxia's delicate hand, causing her to shiver as if jolted by electricity, yet she soon regained her composure, reciprocating the gesture. Neither spoke. At the police station, upon entering, they encountered Police Chief Deng Jian, who appeared surprised upon seeing Han Chuxia. Xia, what brings you here? Is there something wrong? Deng uncle. Han Chuxia greeted, and Deng Jian nodded in acknowledgement. This young lady is the hostage who was kidnapped from the hospital, an officer reported to Deng Jian. Deng Jian's expression shifted as he approached Han Chuxia, scrutinizing her before exhaling in relief. You must have been frightened. His tone was affectionate, having watched her grow up. Han Chuxia shook her head, insisting, I'm fine. Deng Jian then turned to Gu Yechen, momentarily taken aback by his imposing presence. Who is this? This is Gu Yechen. My friend. Han Chuxia replied, her tone slightly awkward. Deng Jian nodded, chuckling. A friend? I see. I understand. Han Chuxia's cheeks flushed crimson. Deng uncle. He truly is my friend. He was the one who saved me. Thank you for rescuing Xia. Deng Jian extended his hand to shake Gu Yechen's. After providing a statement, they were permitted to leave. As they departed, Deng Jian pondered Gu Yechen's identity, instructing the officers behind him to investigate how he and Han Chuxia were acquainted. His vigilance was high. Han Chuxia came from an extraordinary family. Her father was a businessman, her uncle a politician, another uncle a military officer, and her grandfather a scientist. If she were to be exploited by nefarious individuals, the consequences could be dire. He also informed Han Zhong about Han Chuxia's kidnapping. Noting that the assailant had received a 10-year sentence, a decision made swiftly due to Han Zhong's influence. Despite the lengthy sentence, he bore no ill will towards Gu Yechen, who had saved his son with a generous sum. Upon exiting the police station, Gu Yechen and Han Chuxia were approached by none other than Yi Fan. Han Chuxia was certain she had not informed him of her whereabouts, making his presence here unsettling. Her eyes narrowed slightly. It indicated how easily her movements were tracked. A perilous situation indeed. Yi Fan rushed toward them, separating the pair. Gu Yechen's expression darkened as he delivered a powerful punch to Yi Fan's abdomen. Although Yi Fan had anticipated the attack, he was still knocked back several steps, blood spilling from his lips. How dare you ambush me again? Yi Fan seethed, pointing a finger at Gu Yechen. This time, I will not let you off easily. He charged at Gu Yechen, who maintained an air of calm, treating Yi Fan as no true adversary. The two exchanged blows for a total of 17 strikes. Remarkably, Gu Yechen only held a slight advantage. He was struck 7 times while landing 10 blows on Yi Fan. Gu Yechen was astonished. He had anticipated Yi Fan would be formidable, but to only marginally surpass him despite possessing a physique rating of 64 was unexpected. If his rating were merely 50, he might have been severely injured. Clearly, he needed to enhance his physicality swiftly, lest he find himself overmatched in future encounters. Yi Fan, now half kneeling on the ground, was consumed by disbelief. This is impossible. I, Yi Fan, have never lost so many strikes since my debut. You must be cheating. Blood trickled from his mouth as he accused Gu Yechen of foul play. Gu Yechen remained silent, his secret of possessing a system that could steadily enhance his abilities concealed. As he walked towards Han Chuxia, Yi Fan's fierce gaze bore into him. If you dare to touch my woman, I will ensure you pay dearly for it. Gu Yechen paid no heed to Yi Fan's threats, positioning himself beside Han Chuxia. With his left arm encircling her slender waist, and his right hand lifting her chin, he gazed provocatively at Yi Fan before leaning in to kiss Han Chuxia's lips. She clumsily reciprocated his affection. Boom. Yi Fan's expression darkened, as if his very soul had been drained. He stood in disbelief, witnessing the woman he cherished respond to Gu Yechen's advances. It felt like a dagger to his heart. Struggling to regain his composure, Yi Fan stood up and left in desolation, glancing back only once. The pain of betrayal etched deep within him. He vowed that this matter would not be resolved easily. He would ensure Gu Yechen paid the price. She was indifferent to how Han Chuxia was, as long as she could eventually have a change of heart. Gu Yechen embraced Han Chuxia and got into the car, driving away with determination. As for their destination, that remains to be revealed in due course. Chapter 58. Jiang Feng's limbs were severed. Meanwhile, Su Hu, accompanied by over 20 men, successfully located Jiang Feng under the starlit sky of Shanghai City, which appeared breathtakingly beautiful. Jiang Feng was emerging from a club, utterly disinterested in the comforts of home, drawn instead to the allure of the outside world. However, as he stepped out, he was swiftly ensnared by Su Hu and his crew, who draped a sack over him and abducted him. Typically, Jiang Feng would have a bodyguard by his side, but fortune had it that on this day, his protector was absent, leaving him vulnerable to Su Hu's machinations. In a secluded warehouse on the outskirts, Jiang Feng was released from his confinement. Having regained his sobriety, he noticed that Su Hu had thoughtfully provided him with a chair. Each of the captors wore gloves and diverse attire, their identities obscured by sunglasses and masks, creating an air of mystery that rendered them almost ghost-like. Even the police would find it impossible to trace them. They moved like phantoms, shadows in the night. Their capabilities were formidable. Even seasoned bodyguards would struggle to best them in a one-on-one confrontation. Most of these men simply sought a life of freedom, unencumbered by societal constraints, which led them to this line of work. Chairman Jiang, it has been a while. Su Hu spoke, deliberately altering his voice. Jiang Feng, seasoned by life's tribulations, displayed no sign of fear in the face of such peril. Instead, he maintained a calm demeanor. Who are you? What purpose do you have in bringing me here? Jiang Feng's voice remained steady, aware that such situations typically revolved around either ransom or some form of coercion. Chairman Jiang, we have no ill intentions. We merely wish to discuss matters with you. Su Hu replied with a chilling smile, his tone laced with menace. How much did others offer you? I can double it. Release me, and we shall consider this a non-event. Otherwise, you will find yourselves in a predicament. Jiang Feng remained composed, as if he held the reins of the situation. We possess professional integrity. Do you believe your petty wealth can sway us? Not a chance. Su Hu scoffed. I can offer you 5 times that amount. If you refuse, only a dead end awaits you. I am a businessman in Shanghai City, the chairman of the Jiang Group. Should anything happen to me, an investigation will surely follow. And do you think you can evade justice? Jiang Feng continued to issue threats, exuding confidence. Very well. Transfer 5 times the amount immediately. They gave us 10 million. So you owe us 60 million. Su Hu declared with a grin. Jiang Feng was taken aback. He had anticipated a demand in the range of several million. Not an outrageous 60 million. Why not simply rob me instead? My wealth did not come easily. I cannot part with 60 million. However, I can offer 500,000. Jiang Feng's voice grew heated. It was not that he could not produce the sum, but rather he was unwilling to part with his hard-earned money so readily. Chairman Jiang, are you certain? Such statements may lead to your suffering. Su Hu, masked and menacing, left no room for misunderstanding. Jiang Feng dismissed their threats, confident that they would not dare act against him in Shanghai City. If you require money, I can provide 500,000. Anything beyond that is impossible. Brothers, prepare to film. The boss ordered us to break his limbs. Let's get to work. Su Hu commanded, ceasing any further dialogue. Initially, he had hoped to extort 60 million before delivering a beating, but given the circumstances, he decided to act decisively. His disdain for those who harmed their kin would soon be channeled into a performance involving Jiang Zihua's name. Upon hearing Su Hu's orders, the men turned their gazes toward Jiang Feng, whose expression tightened with anxiety. A piercing scream erupted as Jiang Feng lost consciousness, having underestimated their ruthlessness. Had I known, I should have raised the offer to 1 million. Is he really that fragile? Su Hu pondered aloud, nudging Jiang Feng's body with his foot. Damn, this is pathetic. We barely broke his hands, and he's out cold. What now, Tiger? Should we continue? One of the younger men asked, eager for action. Su Hu remembered that Gu Yechen's directive was to sever his limbs. Having accepted the payment, it was imperative to follow through. Wake him up with water. And then we can continue. One of the younger men smirked maliciously. Tiger, why not just douse him with urine to wake him up? Su Hu was momentarily stunned, slapping the young man on the head. Are you mad? If you do that, the police will trace the DNA back to you. Fool. The chastised young man finally understood, giving Su Hu a thumbs up, which only served to inflate Su Hu's pride. Let us get on with it, he ordered. One of his men poured a bottle of freshly opened mineral water over Jiang Feng's face, jolting him awake. Yet, the pain in his arms brought forth a groan of despair. He deeply regretted underestimating his captors. Ah! Another scream pierced the air, echoing through the empty surroundings. Had there been anyone nearby, the racket would surely have attracted attention. Su Hu, satisfied with the clarity of the video, ensured to leave Jiang Feng's phone beside him as they prepared to depart. Brothers, let us retreat. We have fulfilled Mr. Jiang Zihua's orders. Su Hu exclaimed. The ruthlessness of Jiang Zihua was astonishing. He was willing to turn against his own father for the sake of the Jiang Group. After Su Hu and his men left, Jiang Feng was utterly defeated, his limbs shattered. The mastermind behind his torment was none other than his beloved son. In his last moments of consciousness, he managed to dial the police. Meanwhile, Gu Yechen drove Han Chusha back to her family home, arriving at 6:30. Just as Han Chusha unbuckled her seatbelt to exit the vehicle, she glanced at Gu Yechen. Initially, He had intended to drop her off and leave. But her radiant smile made it challenging to resist. Gu Yechen grasped Han Chuxia's delicate hand firmly, causing her to lean into him. As she gazed at Gu Yechen's flawless visage, a sense of nervousness washed over her cheeks tinged with crimson. Could anyone be this handsome, even in her dreams? She sensed what Gu Yechen might be about to do, yet she harbored a flicker of anticipation, wondering if he was indeed as she imagined. Gu Yechen tenderly brushed her hair aside, the faint fragrance filling the car, igniting a fire within him. Unable to resist, he lowered his head and pressed his lips against Han Chuxia's. This time, she exhibited a newfound confidence, no longer passive as before. 2.5 minutes later, they parted. Han Chuxia panted, her hair damp with perspiration clinging to her flawless cheeks. This marked the third intimate encounter with Gu Yechen that day, and she was astonished by her own audacity. Gu Yechen gazed at her, desire igniting within him. "Tonight, will you come with me?" he asked softly, cradling her exquisite face in his hands. Chapter 59. Acquiring Han Chuxia. Han Chuxia hesitated, unsure whether to agree to accompany Gu Yechen. She knew that if she went with him, the night would surely be unforgettable. After contemplating for a while, she was about to decline when Gu Yechen pressed his lips against hers once more, stirring her emotions anew. 2.5 minutes later, Gu Yechen gazed at Han Chuxia, asking softly, "Is it all right?" The heat of his gaze made her anxious, leaving her at a loss for words. "Chuxia, can I?" His intense, affectionate stare was hard for her to resist. His handsome visage and gentle demeanor gradually enchanted her. She nodded, taking that fateful step. Torn between her desire to refuse and her inability to do so, Gu Yechen's heart soared with joy as he immediately drove towards the English mansion. They exchanged little conversation along the way, his hand clasping hers, sensing her palpable nervousness. Upon entering the villa area, Liang Shi spotted Gu Yechen's car and contemplated greeting him but hesitated, fearing to intrude. Then she saw a stunning woman emerge from the vehicle, and her heart sank at the sight of Han Chuxia. Inside Villa Number 1, Gu Yechen pressed his lips against Han Chuxia's once more, and they ascended in the elevator directly to the master bedroom. Even the simplest of rituals like washing up seemed unnecessary as he began to undress her, everything flowing seamlessly. At the last moment, Gu Yechen looked at Han Chuxia and said, "Actually, I have several women. Would that bother you?" If Han Chuxia merely replied that it wouldn't or shook her head, he would claim her instantly. A thunderous shock coursed through Han Chuxia's mind, as if she had been struck by a bomb. She had never anticipated that Gu Yechen had other women. Yet he was being so intimate with her. He was her first crush, and now this revelation shattered her. A tear slipped from her eye. And seeing this made Gu Yechen regret not having clarified sooner. He wiped her tear away and, turning, refrained from advancing further. "I'm sorry," he said. "It was my fault for not telling you. As long as you don't wish it, I will not impose. You can sleep here, and the bathroom is available for you." With that, he turned to leave. Han Chuxia felt deceived. Had he not uttered those words, she might have surrendered her innocence. Yet, gazing at his regretful expression, she felt a pang of sympathy. He had at least respected her choice by asking for her opinion at the last moment. Han Chuxia truly liked him. She seemed to have made a decision. "Come back," she called out, her face flushing as Gu Yechen turned to leave. To his surprise, she agreed to surrender herself to him. "Chuxia, have you thought this through? Once this happens, there's no going back," he cautioned. Han Chuxia found it hard to refuse him. Had she known from the outset, it might have been easier. Now that her desires had been ignited, she felt there was no turning back. "I have made my decision," she affirmed, nodding resolutely. Gu Yechen stepped closer, embracing her gently. "Chuxia, please." Before he could finish, she placed a hand over his mouth, silencing him. "No apologies. I am willing." Her face blushed as red as a peach. With her proactive stance, Gu Yechen felt a sense of urgency to proceed, and as they prepared themselves anew, he embarked on his conquest. A muffled sound escaped Han Chuxia as she crossed the threshold into a new identity. The details following this moment remained unspoken. Gu Yechen reveled in the aftermath, while Su Hu anxiously awaited news. He had been trying to reach Gu Yechen, but to no avail. The latter had no time to attend to him. The next morning, Han Chuxia awoke, enduring a pain that felt unbearable. The room was empty, leaving her heart heavy with sadness. She stared at the disarray around her, astonished by her own reckless abandon, now needing to lean against the wall to walk. After freshening up, Han Chuxia emerged from the bathroom, still enveloped in steam. A glance revealed that the chaos had been tidied, and there stood Gu Yechen, gazing at her with fondness, a hairdryer in hand. "Come here, let me dry your hair," he offered. With a vitality level of 65, Gu Yechen felt quite satisfied. And Han Chuxia was touched by this unexpected gesture. It was typically her responsibility to dry her hair, but now, having a man assist her felt strangely pleasant. As Gu Yechen stood behind her, using the hairdryer gently, Han Chuxia watched him in the mirror, thinking how this must be what couples experience. All done, Gu Yechen placed the hairdryer aside and approached the bed with scissors. Han Chuxia, puzzled, followed him, her cheeks flushing crimson when she realized his intent. He was cutting away the red stains on the sheets from the previous night. "Would you like to keep this?" he asked, aware that some women cherish mementos from such significant moments. Flushing, Han Chuxiao accepted it and placed it in her bag before heading towards the elevator. Gu Yechen, noticing her unsteady gait, swiftly swept her off her feet and carried her downstairs. Having prepared breakfast, he affectionately caressed her hair, gazing at her. I have several women, and there will be more in the future. I cannot offer you a title, but I will treat you well. You can confide in me. I will never turn you away as long as I can help. Han Chuxiao nodded, reassuring him, you need not feel responsible. We are both adults. It's merely a formality. Besides, if you were single, I would genuinely consider being with you. You are my first infatuation. But could you perhaps share a piece of your heart with me? As she spoke calmly over breakfast, Gu Yechen remained silent, merely nodding in response. Han Chuxiao smiled at his reply, and after finishing her meal, she prepared to leave. Gu Yechen offered to accompany her, but she declined, opting to purchase contraception. Mindful of their lack of protection. Ding! Gu Yechen's phone chimed, an incoming call from Li Hu. His brow furrowed as he answered, hello, Su Hu. Upon hearing Gu Yechen finally on the line, Su Hu felt relieved and sent him a video, stating, Mr. Gu, the task you assigned has been completed. Here is the footage. Such efficiency? Gu Yechen remarked, surprised to see Jiang Feng being taken down. He was impressed by Su Hu's capability to get things done. Redirect the blame towards Jiang Zihao. Gu Yechen swiftly transferred 20 million to Su Hu, requesting, provide me with 10 account numbers. I'll send the funds. He felt a rush of satisfaction at Jiang Feng's demise, knowing it would impede the orphanage's renovation, altering its very essence. Su Hu, puzzled, inquired, why 10 accounts? According to what you said, large sums attract scrutiny. Jiang Feng isn't just anyone. The police will undoubtedly investigate. Dispersing the funds is one of the best strategies. If your account receives 10 million, and Jiang Feng is also after that amount, the police will connect the dots, Gu Yechen explained calmly, devoid of emotion. Su Hu felt a shiver of apprehension and quickly sent the 10 account numbers to Gu Yechen. You all did well this time. I'll give you an extra 10 million as a reward. Reach out to me for future matters. Gu Yechen held little regard for money, however. He acknowledged the commendable efforts of Su Hu and his associates. He required such individuals to undertake certain extraordinary tasks, such as dealing with Jiang Feng decisively. After concluding the call, he drove to the Shuyu Exuan Hotel to assess the situation. His newly purchased vehicle had also been delivered. Chapter 60, Strengthening Ties with the Han family before leaving. Gu Yechen placed the ancient tea tree, aged a millennium, into the garden of his villa, towering over 10 meters. The moment it was set free, the fragrance of the tea enveloped the entire garden. This 1,000-year-old tea tree could reach a maximum height of 15 meters, and it was evident that Gu Yechen had already approached its limits. Abundant leaves adorned the tree, attracting small birds as soon as it was released. Only Gu Yechen had the privilege to pluck its leaves. Others could only do so in his presence, marking it as his exclusive treasure. Just yesterday, he had won 5 physique elixirs in a lottery, truly a remarkable find. He gathered 20 leaves and placed them in 4 boxes, intending to visit Han Chuxia and, in passing, present some tea to old Master Han Zhong, as well as to Han Chuxia. Following that, he planned to assess the situation at the Shui Yuexuan Hotel. To gradually establish his business empire, it was imperative that he maintained his connections, and the Han family was undoubtedly his greatest ally thus far. Upon arriving at the Han family's villa, a security guard approached and inquired, Mr. Gu, here to see Miss Han? Gu Yechen was taken aback that the guard recognized him. Scrutinizing the man before him. No need to ponder, Mr. Gu. The young lady showed us your photograph right after she returned. You may proceed in. The guard opened the door, allowing Gu Yechen to enter. Why are you here? Come on in. Han Chuxiao exclaimed upon receiving the news, descending the stairs. She had not anticipated Gu Yechen's visit, having only been apart for a brief moment. Gu Yechen affectionately ruffled Han Chuxiao's hair, her cheeks flushing as she welcomed him inside. As he entered, Gu Yechen spotted a familiar face, Yi Fan. The moment Yi Fan laid eyes on Gu Yechen, he felt an intense desire to confront him, for he had discovered that Han Chuxia had not returned home the previous night. This morning, he noticed her gait was somewhat altered, confirming that Gu Yechen had already claimed her. Sensing Yi Fan's hostility, Gu Yechen narrowed his eyes, confronting him without yielding an inch. Gu Xiaoyu. Old Master Han was taken aback upon seeing Gu Yechen, surprised that he had appeared here. Han Chuxia had mentioned her grandfather's name, Han Wangfei, a name laden with meaning, as his sons had soared in various fields, business, politics, military, and medicine. You seem to be in good spirits, old master. I came to pay you a visit. Gu Yechen engaged with Han Wangfei, as if they were already familiar. And the elder was pleased that the young man did not regard him as merely an old man. Who wouldn't he wish to retain their youth? You come to see me? What nonsense. Your eyes are practically glued to my granddaughter. Old Master Han grumbled inwardly. Gu Yechen also greeted Han Chuxiao's father, Han Jin, a formidable business tycoon whose imposing presence naturally evoked awe. His company ranked among the top 5 in Shanghai City, valued in the hundreds of billions, far surpassing Jiang Feng. Gu Yechen presented the 4 boxes, saying, "Old master, these are some tea leaves for you." He handed one box to Han Wangfei, another to Han Jin, one to Han Chuxia, and the last one he designated for Han Ershu. Rather bold of him to call him uncle. Upon hearing this, Han Chuxia's face turned crimson, while Han Jin felt a surge of frustration, realizing that the precious daughter he raised was slipping away. Fortunately, she wasn't involved with someone frivolous. Tea leaves. How can such small boxes contain anything? Old Master Han questioned, intrigued. Upon opening the box,